Going right through Labor Day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time.
Lady!
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome into the show. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for being with us this afternoon on 97.1 FM Talk. You have heard, I'm sure, at this point, at 8:30 this morning, there was a phone call made, a 911 call made in Minneapolis, and there has been another school shooting. You've heard a lot of the updates so far. We've been covering it here on 97.1 as the details come in. Anything new that is reported throughout the course of the day, we will bring to you. As of right now, we do know that 2 children have been shot. They were, it was a Catholic school in Minneapolis. The children were gathered at Mass. The reports are saying that Mass is held in the morning. It was the first Mass of the school year. This week is the first. This was when school started at this Catholic school, and Mass on Wednesdays brings the families in, so parents and other worshipers can come in and participate in that Mass. And so the church had adults, it had children in it, and an armed gunman fired into the church from the outside. Lots of reports on how many bullets were fired, but it was enough to kill 2 children. And there are other children in critical condition right now who are being tended to. And yes, our utmost prayers are with these families, are with these children, are with these individuals who are still fighting for recovery. And I just want you to know that if you've tuned in today and you want to know the latest, anytime there is a development, we will bring it to you. But there's a way to handle these situations, and there's a way not to handle these situations. For me, it is a very difficult thing to discuss as a mother, with kids in school, as a wife, with a husband in school. These things are very difficult for anyone to consume, and I want to respect the news of the day and make sure that we do update you as anything develops. The shooter, I should also say, took his own life. I will echo Trey Gowdy's words on Outnumbered a little bit earlier. I wish he would have done that before today. That's what Trey Gowdy said, and I thought, I feel the same way. Is there anything else I would give you an opportunity to speak on it? I don't want to dwell on it because I don't know what dwelling does at this point.
Well, I told Brad this morning that this is the news of the day. It's a headline that we're going to see today and, for the next few days. And if you know anybody in Minneapolis, you're probably texting them to ask them how they're doing and everything, where they're at. But the one that when you saw it, you said, oh my gosh, that the 2 kids that were praying, that were shot while praying, that's something you don't forget.
Well, they were in church. They were in at a Mass, like a beginning of the school day Mass. And so, being in worship as a Christian, if they were praying to a Jesus that they know and that they love, but more importantly, that knew them and loves them, they're with him. So it's a tough thing to discuss, and it is an important thing to report on. But we'll bring you the details. We'll bring you all the details as they are released, the ones that we need to get to your attention. So you will be plugged into the story here, but we aren't going to spend the entire day dwelling on it. It often diverts into political spin, and folks, people are still in the hospital. So my understanding, talking to many of you when things like this happen, you're kind of the same mind. This isn't going to be a political fodder for me, and I'm sorry if that was what you're coming here for. It's just not what we're going to do. The YouTube poll for today, though, should trained armed security be present in all schools, yes or no? I think that most public schools if they have the means to do so within the districts, often have resource officers. People I talk to love their resource officers. It's like the first person you want to get to know in your district, in your building. And this is the second Christian school we've seen be keyed in on here recently. And as you know, those schools are not funded in the same way. These are soft targets. Churches are soft targets. Lots to discuss based on, I heard one question at the press conference with the police. Do we know if he legally obtained these weapons? And they don't know that. They don't know any of these things. That's why dwelling on those discussions, the people who want to have a knee-jerk reaction to a moment like this, they knew what they would say in this moment before the moment actually happened. So if the details don't matter, then why would we discuss them? I think they matter. Not simple to just shift into the news of the day, but we're going to do that as we keep our eyes and our ears on the developments coming out of Minneapolis. Yesterday's cabinet meeting, did you know that thing went basically our entire show?
I'm not surprised, but no, I didn't know how late it went.
It was it was over a 3-hour meeting.
Didn't start before our show, too?
It started it was supposed to start earlier, but I think it ended up starting at around 11:15. And President Trump spoke himself until, I believe it was about 11:58. It was like, oh, he's stopping speaking just in time for the show. And then normally what they'll do is they'll go around the room, and it's a cabinet meeting, so you'd like to hear from the members of the cabinet at a cabinet meeting, not just the president. Of course, you always want to hear from the president. But the cabinet meeting kind of began. He gave the preamble to the cabinet meeting for 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And then they went around the room and allowed the other cabinet members to speak, to give their reports. And it went 3 hours. At one point, President Trump looked at the guy who was holding the boom mic. And he goes, "You've been doing that for 3 hours. Aren't your arms tired?" And I just thought, isn't everybody tired? It's a 3-hour meeting.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that it went that long, because the trickle last night coming out of it, of clips, was widely varied. I mean, there was a lot coming out of that.
What do you mean varied?
Well,
content covered?
In content, because
it's
everybody spoke, and there were so many different topics, and it was so long that everybody's looking for clips, but it took a long time to get clips because the meeting was so long. What?
I thought you were getting nothing. I thought you were going to say something. I appreciate that they do these things. I wish they would have covered it more, but I don't know how Fox is supposed to cover a 3-hour meeting. It's just like your entire afternoon.
Like us. Like, we're not going to do the whole show on the meeting.
No, but paying attention to what a lot of these different cabinet members are focusing on, we often are looking into all the wins that President Trump has had so far, and it's like, gosh, how does he do it? And then you have a 3-hour cabinet meeting where you have assembled the Avengers of common sense and constitutionality, and you say to yourself, oh, well, it's not just Donald Trump doing that. When you're surrounded by good people, look how much you can get done. Contrast that to Donald Trump's first term, when the John Boltons of the room in his first cabinet meetings would have been intentionally there to sabotage him, among many, many other people. Even the relationship that the president has with the media is there's a rhythm to it now. There's a give and a take, and sometimes he throws lobs out at some of the people who ask him questions. So it's not like you're safe necessarily, but I feel as though he enters the conversation with some level of mutual respect. Like, listen, I know if I'm speaking as President Trump, I'm here and I'm going to help you guys write stories, print magazines or papers, or write articles, get clicks. I know that, but he also seems to have an understanding that they are also there in a way that not helps him like is colluding with him, but they are the ones who get his story out. Somebody writes an article about something, it gets put out, whether people agree with it or disagree with it, you get the message out. There seems to be a healthier relationship that exists between those two entities more than certainly has in the past. And it almost feels like we have entered into a place where Donald Trump is functioning as a normal president in a more normal environment for the first time since we've known Donald Trump to be in politics. Remember at the very beginning when he was coming in? They all loved him. They all got a kick out of him. I think most of the people, especially the agenda-driven leftist media, felt very much so like they wanted him to get in it because he was making a mockery of the Republican Party. Like, check out this guy. The Republican Party, you're not even allowed to have your tie be crooked in the Republican Party. And you've got Donald Trump coming in here who doesn't ascribe to any of the moral certitude of the grand old party. He's going to bust this whole thing wide open. If he gets anywhere, any distance in this primary process, it's going to decimate what everybody understands Republicans to be. So they're like, go, do it. Sounds great. But then he started to get a little more serious, and people on the right side of the aisle were like, we don't like the stuffy guys either. We're not interested in that either. Republicans didn't like people going into government and acting as if they were better than the Republicans that sent them there because they just know better, and big government, if it's Republican, is fine. And you're like, no, you're not a good Republican. You're a bad Republican. And you're doing the same crap that we don't want the left to be doing. We need somebody who's different. And Donald Trump's like, hold my beer. Root beer. He doesn't drink.
Right. We all knew you meant root beer, though.
Isn't it funny that he doesn't drink? Isn't it funny that he doesn't, smoke? He doesn't do any of those things.
Yeah, he seems like the ultimate have-a-beer president.
Donald Trump's vice, I guess, is fame in women. But will you please point me to the corner of Washington, D.C. where that's not traditionally welcomed?
Thank you.
Like, it's the hypocrisy of suggesting that somehow Donald Trump, I'm really sick and freaking tired of the, assertion that as a Christian, I'm not able to appreciate Donald Trump for what he's doing for this country. And we touched on it a little bit. Was it last week when he said on Fox and Friends or something that he hopes he can save thousands of lives from dying in war because he thinks it'll help him get into heaven?
Mm-hmm.
There's something about him. There's an itch that he has. I would refer to it as the Holy Spirit, but that's just me. That makes him think these thoughts, which is good to be thinking those thoughts. If you're not even considering it, that's fine. I'll reiterate to what I said last week. You got Jesus. The ticket is punched. Your deeds will not qualify you. That's all I have to say about that for now. But the suggestion that somehow or another, oh, Annie, you're a Christian and you support Donald Trump. He's a sinner. And I'm like, well, hi. Here I am, also a sinner. You're going to hear a lot of people today criticize thoughts and prayers. And I will criticize thoughts and prayers too. Just drop the thoughts. Fall on your knees and pray. If this didn't happen today in Minneapolis, there'd still be a reason for you to fall on your knees and pray. We get a little bit more than that. And more of that. And, I think to myself, just a little bit to what you said, Ryan, I am the only solace that I can think anyone has, and Trey Gowdy pointed this out too, is that those people have Jesus, but most importantly, that Jesus had those children. When we come back, Gregg Jarrett's going to talk to us a little bit about the pursuit to get Trump, how and you're shopping the carpeting options there. They have that Smart Strand Mohawk silk line of carpet. Silky softness under your bare feet or when you're laying down playing with the grandkids or the kids. A superior performance that's going to stand the test of time. You want great quality flooring for your hard-earned dollar, obviously. And Michael's Flooring Outlet, they respect that. So when you reach out to them, either stopping by any of their 3 locations across St. Louis, or if you decide to just hop on their website at igotfloor.com, you can read some of the reviews from customers who are just like you, looking for a great a great company to spend their money with for a great product. Michael's Flooring Outlet is going to show you how they've done that again and again right here in St. Louis. IGotFloor.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
Now, back to the Annie Fry Show. Real talk for real people. 97.1 FM Talk.
Nothing to do with classified documents or about classified intelligence that Bolton printed in his book. Trump Justice Insider Mike Davis says Democrats, rhinos, and reporters who think this raid on John Bolton is about his book will be very embarrassed when the search warrant becomes public. Primetime's hearing Bolton was making a lot of money from overseas and may have been trafficking in intelligence. That wouldn't be putting America first. Constitutional scholar Jonathan Turley, who we just heard from, says Bolton could be looking at up to 20 years in prison. So Bolton should take his own advice and take a big, beautiful, deep breath.
I think it's important that everybody take a deep breath here. This is a very serious matter.
So there you have John Bolton speaking about something that had to do with not with him in 2022, but he's in some trouble here. Maybe it'll all shake out. Maybe time will pass and we'll find out. He's been exonerated, much like Donald Trump has in many of these issues. But for right now, I'm curious. How much trouble does John Bolton think he might be in? Well, we ask our friend Gregg Jarrett, who's back with us as a Fox News legal analyst and, of course, a former defense attorney and law professor and author. Gregg, welcome back to the show.
Good to be with you, Annie.
It's always good to be with you, Gregg. I want to know, I've got this article from thegreggjarrett.com, which everybody listening needs to read on the regular. No one is above the law. Does that include Michael Bolton? Is he in real trouble?
John Bolton. I think Michael's okay.
I knew I was going to do that. I almost said that yesterday.
What did Mike come in with Michael Bolton music.
I got a hot take here on the Annie Fry Show. John Bolton. That's what I do when I'm doing too many things at once. I'm sorry, Gregg Jarrett. Let's start that over. Is John Bolton really in some trouble?
Yeah, I think he is. Anytime your home and office are raided simultaneously by the FBI, you got to be worried. Right? Now, it doesn't mean he's going to be indicted by a grand jury for crimes, but it's pretty good indication because a federal judge was convinced that there's probable cause to believe that evidence of a crime might be found in, Bolton's home or office, and therefore approved the search warrant. But, look, there are several possibilities here. First of all, keeping classified documents in your home or office is a crime. It's a violation of the Espionage Act and also a different statute, 18 U.S.C. 1924, I believe it is. So also leaking it to others, either verbally or in writing, that's a felony. So, the FBI was searching for incriminating or corroborating evidence. In other words, hard copies of classified documents, notes, communications, electronic records, all of that. I mean, they took away boxes of stuff as well as every single electronic device, cell phones, computers, and so forth. This originated 5 years ago when Bolton wrote a tell-all book. And when the government tried to stop him, the judge, a federal judge, admonished Bolton that he was gambling with national security and warned him that he could be criminally prosecuted. Bolton didn't care. He had a $2 million advance. And the judge was prepared to stop the book because the judge felt there was classified information in the book. But his publisher, with Bolton's consent, already distributed the book. Look, if you're the national security advisor, you got to follow the rules, which is the government must give you written approval after reviewing the manuscript to determine whether there's any, national security secrets in it. Well, Bolton didn't do that. And frankly, that was foolhardy. And it may not be the book that has gotten him into trouble. It simply started the investigation. And, when you start looking around, start nosing around, you tend to find other things.
Yeah, certainly. We're speaking here with Gregg, Jarrett. We're talking about John Bolton, not Michael Bolton. I knew I was going to do that on the air. Let's talk about having the possession of classified documents, because we have two other main big cases that we are familiar with in the last few years, one being at Mar-a-Lago with President Trump, and the other being with then President Joe Biden when his home was raided, but the documents that were in possession were prior to his presidency. What's the difference between Bolton, Biden, and Trump having these classified documents in their possession?
Well, Bolton and Biden are not under the Presidential Records Act, which provides some protection. That's the exclusive authority on, presidential records, be they classified or not, for former presidents. And the exclusive remedy under that act is civil. It's not criminal. So in other words, in the case of Bill Clinton, same thing. The case against him was never a criminal case. It was a civil case. And indeed, the Department of Justice defended Bill Clinton and said under the act, he can keep anything he wants, including classified documents, and a federal judge agreed. But suddenly when it's Donald Trump, the DOJ takes a different point of view of the Presidential Records Act. But again, the exclusive remedy is civil, not criminal. There's no such protection for, either Bolton or Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden obviously had classified documents, should have been prosecuted, but Robert Hur, the special counsel, said essentially he's too old, too incapacitated, poor memory. We can't prosecute him because of that. So in other words, it's okay for him to be an incompetent president. You just can't be an incompetent defendant in a criminal trial. As for Bolton, again, he has to adhere to the law as everybody else does. You cannot remove and store classified documents from a secure facility.
Yeah, it is quite a different set of circumstances. Even the raid on Mar-a-Lago was really that's like we have memories of stories and everything, but I think people can picture in their mind when that moment happened, that raid on Mar-a-Lago, the images that came out of it. There was there has been an obvious get Trump mentality throughout the course of the last 10, 15 years, and you've written extensively about it in your books. I wonder how much Donald Trump has been made out to be a villain from the very beginning. He must have obviously been a threat to the people who had the power that he felt threatened. But at this point in time, over and over and over again, these things where the storylines where he was the villain, we're now finding out he was 100% the victim. And you've written about that as well at thegreggjarrett.com. Do you feel like there's more of that to come where we watch him shift from villain to victim?
Yeah, I think so. We only know probably less than half the truth. But I will say, as I wrote in my recent column, the lawfare campaign was so blatant, it was so obvious that politically it boomeranged against, his Democratic opponents, because voters, once they began to see the abuse of the law against him, and the Alvin Bragg case was the perfect example of it, the Letitia James case and so forth. I mean, voters began to see him, not as a villain, but a victim of unscrupulous opponents who were willing to abuse their position of powers and misuse the law to try to prevent him in the 2024 election from gaining re-election. And it had the opposite effect. It helped propel him to a second term last November. And Letitia James campaigned on the unethical promise to get Trump. Literally, she said those two words, get Trump. She had no access to evidence. She wasn't in any office at the time. She had no knowledge of wrongdoing, hadn't seen any files. Once you, as a political candidate for an office in which you wield legal power, target a particular individual and preordain an outcome, that's a disbarable offense. Not only should she have been forced from office for doing it, but she should be disbarred. Now, for her, a Democrat can't get disbarred in New York because, it's a liberal bar that cheered her on. But nevertheless, that doesn't make it any less unethical.
So when Gregg Jarrett speaking with us right now, when we're watching the Department of Justice root a lot of this stuff out, we continue to hear about files in burn bags that are occurring, that are being discovered. We can uncover what has been done, but is there a way to prevent it from happening in the future?
Well, I think full transparency is often quite useful, and that, I think, is what Kash Patel of the FBI is determined to do. So, I mean, he's gone through every room, every nook and cranny, and found a stunning amount of incriminating evidence of lawfare against Trump, and he's turned it over to Congress. Congress is releasing it. So people can see it for themselves. Seeing is believing. And that will prompt hearings, of course, and there will undoubtedly be criminal referrals to the Department of Justice, and apparently already have been. And, there's word that several grand juries have been convened. I've said before that, I think those most at risk are Comey, Clapper, and Brennan, for lying to Congress, for obstructing justice, for lying to the FISA court in Comey's case. But there are others as well. I mean, certainly the Hillary Clinton campaign and Clinton herself, who appear to have defrauded the government by providing false and phony evidence to precipitate a wrongful investigation of Trump. So, I think she'll get a subpoena to testify. Obama will, because apparently according to Brennan, Obama was in on it. And so we'll wait and see how this, sort of sorts out. But it'll be fascinating to watch.
Well, we will certainly hope you continue to answer our emails and phone calls to come back and update us, Gregg Jarrett, because your insight, and I encourage people, as I said before, to go to thegreggjarrett.com because your writings on all these developments as they happen, it's must-read stuff. So we're grateful you share it with us here on our show. Gregg, thanks for coming back with us. Look forward to
Thanks,
talking
Annie. Good to be with you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Gregg Jarrett, of course, the Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, and author. His books on the Russia collusion stuff, the Russia hoax, all of that. You need to check those out because he's been on this story when it was unpopular, when it was conspiratorial even to be on this story. And it kind of, he's got to feel so vindicated to be like, oh, you're trying to catch up? Here's my book. Mm-hmm. I was there. I was reporting on it. And if you need to get any of the details, you can just check them out at thegreggjarrett.com.
So many of the people who went ahead and did that were kind of blacklisted too. And for them to be on the other side of this now going, hey, everybody, I'm glad to see Gregg Jarrett's still top of his game and hasn't lost that footing that a lot of people did.
Keep it right here. More Annie Fry Show right around the corner. Any news breaks on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis this morning, we will continue to bring you the details as they are released. Our YouTube poll for you today: should trained armed security be present in all schools? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
The number one fear of adults in retirement remains, will I outlive my money? The team at Ricken Financial want to help calm those fears with a complimentary income plan. This includes a deep dive into your retirement strategy to see what's working and where adjustments can be made. Call today for an initial no-cost income plan. 314-207-6211. That's 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-334-1155. 800-334-1155. Again, that's 800-334-1155.
Should trained armed security be present in all schools? That's the subject of today's YouTube live chat poll. We're asking you to weigh in on this topic, and we'll give you the results at the end of the show. It is 12:36 now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Bold takes, real talk, no apologies. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Tragic news out of Minneapolis this morning. A school shooting, Catholic school, kindergarten through 8th grade. Children were assembled for Mass in the morning. Parents can gather for Mass, of course, on Wednesday morning with the school. And the shooter shot into the church while they were at Mass. Our poll for today is, should trained armed security be present in all schools? Yes or no? I don't even... I know it's my job to fill 3 hours here, but my answer is yes, 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 yes. Yes.
I think we're already there. I mean, you already have trained armed security at a lot of schools, maybe not all. So the answer is almost an obvious yes to me, because we've had to, by necessity, get there.
You know what agitates me is when people say like, "Oh, it's tragic," but I think it's time, and we understand that the visual is, can be disconcerting to people. And I'm like, why? I don't ever see a police officer out and about doing their job, patrolling, and think a negative thought about that. Now, okay, I can hear the detractors in my head saying, well, Annie, that shows your privilege. That shows your perspective in life. You see a police officer, you don't feel threatened by that. For whatever various reasons, you're presuming that I don't feel threatened by that. I don't view police officers as anything but good public civil servants. And if one of them exposes themselves to be a bad police officer, that is always, to me, the exception to the rule. Every single time, it's the exception to the rule. And I've never met a police officer in my life, and I know plenty of them personally and have been contacted by many of you just over the course of the show. I know a lot of law enforcement listen to 97.1 while they're out on the patrol. You want the bad ones out more than the rest of the civilians who don't understand police work with the intimacy that you would as a law enforcement officer. I think it would do wonders for our culture, for our society, to put police officers, this is not why you do it. So don't hear me say something I'm not saying. But even from a public relations standpoint, putting police officers in the view of children going to and from schools who can be given, fist bumps to kids while they're walking in, talking to kids, getting to know the kids. 100% yes. Mm-hmm. Put those individuals in front of these kids so that these kids can have a different understanding of what a police officer does for a living, that they are out there to protect and serve, because those police officers are inevitably going to show up in some of the worst moments of your life. The police officer doesn't show up to give you good news. Other than maybe, we found your dog, which comes after you lost your dog. Mm-hmm. So you're still in a moment of distress, and maybe they can deliver you that positive information. But if the argument is like the visual of a police officer in that set of circumstances, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And I would honestly say they should be federally funded. If you're an accredited school, you should get a resource officer that is armed, period. And I would base it on enrollment in the school. How many souls do you have sitting in those desks during the school day? Somebody smarter than me can determine for this many souls to be protected. Of the most innocent among us, for this many souls, there should be a weapon by somebody who is trained, certified, who we entrust with the responsibility to keep our communities safe and secure to begin with. You don't go to Miss Frizzle, the art teacher, and be like, here's your Glock, obviously. I hope there are no Miss Frizzle art teachers. That was
who carry.
That was supposed to secretively. She's like, how did she know?
Whoa, hey,
oh my gosh,
guys! I messaged the show privately.
That gun should be on the hip of somebody who is trained and entrusted with the community's confidence to keep people safe and secure, just like they do when they're standing on the side of a street at a parade where children are chasing candy and people are out enjoying an evening or an afternoon celebrating a Veterans Day parade or a Halloween parade or whatever it might be. Like, why would a school be the one place where we're like, keep that target soft? It's the first place you harden. I don't understand any of it.
It's just amazing to me that schools have become a target. Why does the mind of a crazy person decide that's where I want to shoot?
Stop right there. You're rationalizing this. You're trying to make sense of this. There's no sense to be made of it. This is where, yes, I'm going to go back there. I said that I was done in the first segment, but I was done for the first segment. Now we're in the third segment, and I'm going to remind you, especially in a world where the three of us, at least, are Christian people, if you're a Christian person, you have to start acknowledging the reach, the scope, the prevalence of evil in the world. What happened today is from the depths of hell evil. That is the only explanation of it. Trey Gowdy, prosecuted some heinous crimes who I've been in the presence of he's done speaking engagements that I've been able to attend, and he talks about some of the heinous natures of the crimes that he's had to prosecute. And he also is a writer, and he's got a book out right now. He was promoting that. He's been promoting it for about a week or so. But he said, he's like, I know these circumstances. And he said this like the first time Fox News had the ability to sit down and have a conversation about it on Outnumbered, when they weren't reporting, when they're like, okay, what do we think about this? His first comment is, there's nothing you can say to these families. You're going to sit there and you're going to think to yourself, like, what would you say to these families? You will not come up with the words because they do not exist. There is no comfort that can be applied in our words to the pain and suffering that is being experienced right now. It just doesn't. They just don't exist. Our natural human instinct is to look at something like this and to try to find that little gap, that little opening where this makes just some sense. Not that you would justify the act of it, obviously, but that you would look at this kid's life. Okay, we're going to find out he comes from a broken home or something like that. We're going to find out that he has some sort of mental condition that makes him feel like people didn't like him for who he was, and he was bullied, and he was hurt, and he was radicalized. So the reason why, this is why I don't like talking about this, but here we are. The reason why we seek to find these things out is because we want to understand them, and then we think that we are going to prevent the next one from happening. But obviously, that's not the case. And the only way to make any sense of all of this is to fully grasp how evil our culture, we embrace the idea of evil, we repel the idea of the opposition of it, and it gets in. And it gets in to shake our society, to shake our community loose from the one thing that can actually defeat that evil. It is a normal, natural, almost necessary exercise to assess this situation and try to make sense of it. Because, Ryan, you got kids in school, you got a wife in school. I know you're thinking the same thoughts that I am today. Brad, your wife is in school. You're thinking the same thoughts that I am today. We're all trying to ask ourselves everywhere. You're a grandparent, you're asking yourself this question. You were a teacher one day, you're asking yourself this question. When will this happen to me? And if you rationalize it, you can try to clear a little bit of the runway to understand why this is why it won't happen to me. All you're doing is self-medicating your own thoughts, but not reality. And that's why I say, until you can acknowledge the full presence of evil in our culture, in our society that has been there since the beginning, until you can embrace the reality that evil exists everywhere we look, you can't understand how to be at peace with that. You need to understand the only thing that will overcome that evil and get to know it. Because that's the only way that you and your brain are ever going to have peace. If that's even a possibility in our broken humanness, that's the only way that's ever going to happen, because you can't explain it. It's inexplainable. It's unfathomable that somebody would do what took place today. You will not be able to make sense of it. The compulsion to try to, I've been doing it all morning. Can't stop thinking about it. I'm messaging people, literally. I could show you the texts. I'm messaging people right now saying, can I start an organization that raises funds to put resource officers in parochial schools? I think I could get some financial backing for that. Is that something I can do? That's what I do in times of tragedy. I'm like, what can I do? I need to do something. But really, that's just me making myself busy so I don't have to think about it. Do you do the same thing?
No.
Do you dwell? Do you block it out? What do you do?
I avoid it. In the nature of the business that we're in, you have to address it. But then beyond here, I'm like, no, I'm not going to address it outside of work. I just avoid it.
Don't need the details. Don't need the headlines. It's not an avoidance that the issue actually exists, but it's a very intentional measuring of how much I'm going to let it
It's an emotional avoidance. Yeah.
Yes, captivate my thoughts. As we said, we'll continue to cover breaking news on the situation in Minneapolis, but we're not going to dwell. I'm going to pray, though. Pray on the breaks today. You can pray during the segments, too. I'm going to pray during the next one.
If you could maybe hold off till the top of the hour, I'm going to be doing a segment. I would love for your participation in it.
All right.
So,
Dear Jesus.
Well, maybe we just do a prayer segment. You want to just do that?
Send me the will and the way. Wiggins America on the Annie Fry Show. Next, don't go away.
Scott Jennings here. I'm excited to be part of the St. Louis conservative conversation, cutting through the noise with unfiltered common sense.
Scott Jennings.
Weekdays at 8 p.m.
on 97.1 FM Talk.
I always get asked, when's the best time of the year to purchase an air conditioning and heating system for your home? My response is always the same. If you call me and have a free consultation on your needs and based on your budget, it's always a good time. There's never a bad time. You don't fear my pricing. I try to buy as much as I can at the start of the season, and anything we have left over, it's still a discounted price to you. So if you're looking or you're waiting before winter, because we all put it off, man. We all put it off. None of us like to spend money. But if you know you're going to be doing something before winter, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Family-focused, faith-filled, always on point. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
All right, you ready to participate in this, Annie Fry?
I never am. Go ahead.
Okay, these are the 6 factions of Trump world, according to MSN.com. As in, these are the 6 types of Trump voters.
It's from MSN. Is that an aggregate? Did MSN post it, but it's from, like, the Federalist? It's not from the Federalist.
No, I think this is from them.
This is from them. I don't ever go there, so I don't have any Windows computers I access regularly for news.
I found this to be not an unfair assessment.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm going to give you the types. I'll give you each one a little bit of blurb about them. You can decide whether you fall into this, and you could fall into multiples. And as you're listening, you can kind of play along too here. The first one would be populists. And they give types of people in these categories, too. For this one, they said Steve Bannon, J.D. Vance, and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. What does it give, like, an explanation?
Yep. Largely working class, anti-immigration, anti-illegal immigration. There's the MSN spin right there, anti-immigration. Anti-interventionist. These voters form the core of the president's political base. MAGA voters tend to support Trump's tariffs, believing they will increase U.S. manufacturing jobs.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but I would say I don't think it's the core. I think it's the distinction.
You think that one pervades others?
I think that's what makes Trump different than the rest of the people who have run in the Republican Party.
I would not argue with that.
It's what we talked about a little bit earlier, like your big government Republicans who want to bloat government for, air quotes, Republican things. It's like, you're missing the point, bro. Donald Trump was different. I'm not that.
I was going to say, would you put yourself in this category?
I've been exposed to that, and I like it. But I have to hear the other ones. That's not the driving force.
Agreed. Brad, populist?
I wouldn't say that's the driving force for me either.
More so than ever.
More so.
Me too. Next one, traditional Republicans. They have the faces here being Lindsey Graham, John Thune, and Glenn Youngkin. Traditional wing of the party largely supports free markets and free trade, lower taxes, smaller government, except for the military. And for the most part, these Republicans align with social conservatives on cultural issues, but that's not their primary focus.
I might be that, but rude to just be like, you and Lindsey?
Traditional Republican. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I can't tell a lie right now.
Okay, George Washington.
My our whole relationship is me lying about you and you running with it. So
Yeah, you're lying right now about not lying.
Yeah.
The next one would be libertarian / small government Republicans. Here are the three faces of this faction. This would be Ted Cruz, Ron DeSantis, and Rand Paul.
I think this is a dumb list.
That's rough.
No.
You don't think DeSantis falls into that category?
In the libertarian?
No.
Small government.
Well, small government, yes, but I don't think these words mean what he thinks they mean. Ron DeSantis, if I were going to describe myself as a Republican, like my spirit Republican would be Ron DeSantis.
No argument here about you.
I feel like the person that wrote that never met an actual libertarian.
Well, Rand Paul is.
He fits into that, but
and Ted
Did you
Cruz.
say Ted Cruz?
Ted Cruz
Yeah,
is a
Ted
small
Cruz
government
is
guy.
small government,
But that's not libertarian. Libertarians, I don't know. Will Chamberlain had a line about Will Chamberlain's. I think he said, this is going to make people mad. He said something like, all morons aren't libertarians, but all libertarians are morons. Or
He
something
did
like
say that.
And I was like, I don't think libertarians are morons, but I think that they think that they're more, they feel like the libertarian badge is their cool badge. And I'm like, okay.
It was like soft Republican. It's like, yeah, I'm going to kind of backdoor this
Thomas
thing.
Massey. I'm not in the
He's in
Thomas
there,
Massey
too.
camp. I'm not mad at him. I want to be on his team. No, I want him to be on my team. Let me rephrase. Go on.
Yeah. Next category would be social conservatives. The prominent people that they have here would be Lankford, James Lankford of Oklahoma. And then Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Social conservatives. And
When have you ever heard Mike Johnson prioritize social issues as a conservative measure?
I agree.
Like,
I thought that was a little silly.
I like these different segments of conservatives because I do see myself overlapping with most of them. Like, I'll say for the libertarian thing, I'm willing to support a libertarian argument for something if that's the best that we can get.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not my advocacy.
Well, the way they put these people in this category is they said last month's legislative package, the Big Beautiful Bill, one major expansion of the child tax credit, private school vouchers, and they also reference the overturning of Roe versus Wade.
Imagine trying to categorize. Give us an extra minute if you can, Brad. Imagine trying to categorize school choice as a social conservative thing, which is always summed up with like religious bigotry of the far right.
Oh, this article goes in hard on that.
I need to know the author's name.
Let's see.
Fine.
The
I know it's
author's name
MSN.
Is Natalie Allison.
Oh, two first names. You know what they say about men with two first names?
I do not. Next one, Tech Bros. These are not us. So we can kind of put a whole bunch of people into that category that are definitely not us.
Washington Post. Go on. What'd you say?
Tech Bros is that category. I know that one is not us. But that's a lot of Silicon Valley. A lot of money comes from them. And the last one in this category, or of these six, is former Democrats, which they also defined as people who came in through the Make America Healthy Again movement. Because a lot of people who were not necessarily politically aligned would have come along because that was their primary issue. But you got, of course, RFK here, RFK Jr., and then Tulsi Gabbard. Longtime Democrats who... And
Which one is this category?
This is former Democrats / Make America Healthy Again voters. But here's the
Converts.
way they define this as people who said that the Democrat Party had gone too woke. Now, that opens that up quite a bit more, and I think there are a lot more people that you could say would be in this category rather than just former Democrats. But that certainly is not us. We've been conservative Republicans for a long time. But I found this article to be very, very interesting because there is some truth to defining that. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of overlap, but I would fall into 3 or 4 of those categories.
Here's the hot take, because I'm looking at her on Twitter. There's nothing that she's got on her Twitter that makes me go, she's a kook. I don't think she writes for Politico and Washington Post, so there's a little bit of assumption made there that maybe isn't fair. But I will say, it's good that they're like, let's learn about these people instead of being like, these are the craziest people I've ever met. I think that's a step. Deroy, Murdock, Chad Pergram in the next hour. Don't go away.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Ruler Foods is starting up the savings with Super Savers, and that's a phrase that you're going to want to remember here. Super Saver. If you go to rulerfoods.com, I'm always telling you about how to save money on your grocery bill. Shopping at Ruler Foods, you have to go inside. Do it. Go inside. You've driven past it a million times. Oh, that's the place Andy talks about. That's Ruler Foods. Go inside. Do it. If you want to go inside one time, you'll learn about the store a little bit, how it works. It's so easy to shop there and save. But once you kind of make that pass, you don't have to go first, but you can have these savings delivered directly to your door. That's pretty great, isn't it? Now let's get back to the word Super Saver. Through September 3rd, if you go to rulerfoods.com, you're going to put that promo code Super Saver into your delivery order, and you're going to get a $10 off a $60 delivery purchase. That's a pretty great opportunity. Again, Super Saver is the code, Super Saver. Just go to rulerfoods.com, place your delivery order, and add that phrase, Super Saver. rulerfoods.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A deadly mass shooting in a Minnesota church. I'm Lisa Brady. Police say the gunman took aim at Catholic school students in Minneapolis.
There are no words that can capture the horror and the evil of this unspeakable act.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, 2 school children are dead, 17 hurt, some critically, after a person armed with 3 weapons opened fire from outside church windows onto a morning mass at Annunciation Catholic School and church.
The coward who fired these shots ultimately took his own life in the rear of the church.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara of the area closed to the public. Local state police and federal agencies on scene as the investigation begins into that now dead suspect, with a search of multiple locations underway.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Governor Tim Walz says Minnesota is heartbroken. Also just posting, "We'll get through this together," and "Hug your kids close." Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's heartbroken after the shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calls the shooting horrifying and says, quote, "Weapons of war have no place in our neighborhoods, streets, or schools."
President Trump and Vice President Vance asking for prayers. The FBI, one of the agencies investigating. New limits on COVID vaccines.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is ending emergency use authorization for COVID vaccines, he announced in a social media post. Kennedy says the emergency use authorization was used to justify broad mandates. Now, he writes, vaccines will be available for patients who want them after consulting with their doctors. The FDA has cleared updated COVID vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax for those at a higher risk, like the elderly and individuals with health conditions.
Fox's Jarrett Halpern at the White House. America is listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-895-1414. That's 800-895-1414. 800-895-1414.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our resort weather in late August continues. Almost have to check the calendar. Partly sunny skies, 79-80. Should do it for the high this afternoon. That is below average. Tonight, a few clouds around 60. On Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower, but really tough to find. 81. Friday, sunny and 82. Let's keep that pattern going right through Labor Day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new air conditioner installed this summer, call a company you can trust to install your AC properly. That will get your home cool and comfortable fast. For a free estimate on a new air conditioner, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're glad that you were with us this afternoon. Very sad news coming out of Minneapolis. Minneapolis Catholic school and church experienced a school shooting today. There were 2 children, ages 10 and 8, who've lost their lives. 17 others have been injured at Annunciation Catholic School. Fox News reports that the gunman has perished from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And Fox News is reporting now that the church shooter went by 2 names, Robert Westman and Robin Westman. We will continue to report on developments as the day progresses. And right now we're kind of trying to do this on as news hits, we bring it to you. I think there's a lot of danger in like speculation that happens during these conversations right now. And I just said this off the air, but I said I do not like doing the show on tilt, because I usually have my hands firmly at 10 and 2 when I come on the show, when I'm behind a microphone and I'm talking about these really big things. When I start to feel my emotions taking over my sense, I am a little apprehensive.
Well, I'm not going to share details. I will say that it looks to be that there's going to be a lot of details coming out about this. And by the end of the show or the day,
there's stuff on Twitter already.
There's stuff out there right now that is going to be in your news feed, maybe even here, as long as we can confirm it, very soon.
Does this affect you? Does this affect you emotionally? Obviously it does. Gosh, because when you know how, if you're ever in an argument with your significant other and you're arguing over something that matters, but there's an emotional hurt maybe that exists or something, and there's a rational conversation that has to be had. You got to work it out. You got to get to the other side of it. But there are also emotions that get involved in that conversation. The regret almost always happens consequentially because of the emotion. Not you've got perspective A, I've got perspective B, we have problem C, and we've got to come together and fix that. When you have that initial aggression towards one another and you're super emotional about said thing and you haven't gotten past the emotion to be like, how do we fix this? That's when bad things get said. And with issues like this, I feel like I'm in the emotional stage and I don't want to say something I'm going to regret.
Well, we'll keep looking into this, confirm,
will
and then
you
we can report.
We're going to speak to our guest here. Will you please dig into what you're finding on X? Because I will report it. We can report information as it happens if it's verified. But you look into what you're seeing, and we'll get to it here in about 20 minutes. I'm going to get to our guest here, Deroy Murdock, our friend, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, Fox News contributor. Deroy, I wanted to give you the opportunity to speak. I don't know how much you've been following what's been going on in Minneapolis. It's another school shooting. It's hard for me on a day like this as a mom to not emotionally react to this and to have to be a reporter. I think a lot of people are experiencing that today. What are your thoughts when you wake up and you see another incident like this?
Well, oddly enough, I'm visiting my parents in Southern California, so I just woke up.
So he's very, yes.
The first time, I do see something in my email list here about Minneapolis shooting. Was it 2 dead, 17 injured?
Two children, yeah. Just an update for everyone who's listening right now. A 10-year-old and an 8-year-old sitting amongst their peers and families at Mass Wednesday morning in the church, and a shooter comes and blasts from the outside of the church into the church with just peppers it with gunfire, and 17 wounded at this point in time, some critical. So it's just, wow. a lot of the details that go consistently from one of these instances to the next. I think so much, Deroy, about the troubled nature of youth today and how much of an imbalance we have on addressing mental illness aggressively. I feel like we're missing a mark there.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this other than what you've told me. Do we know anything about the gunman? Was the gunman captured or on the run?
Shot himself.
Identified yet or not?
They did identify him. This is what we're vetting right now, but he went by 2 names, Robert Westman and Robin Westman. So there's some detail there to explore. I'll let you fill in on the details here, because you're certainly going to want to after we talk here. And a lot of details still coming out, so there's still a lot of information to get to. But, I think right now we are culturally, with the president's administration, there have been a lot of things that the president has addressed head on. When it comes to simple issues like law and order, suggesting that maybe we shouldn't just accept crime-ridden streets. We shouldn't just accept people flooding into our southern border because it's the perceived right thing to do. There are a lot of things this administration is addressing head on that are, in my opinion, pointing us back in the direction of common sense. And he certainly is having a lot of success at that.
You're right about this. I mean, look, in terms of this particular case, we don't know anything about the gunman yet at this point. I'm sure we will in the next few hours. But if, in fact, this person suffered from mental illness, we find in so many instances, people always say, if you see something, say something. Why didn't somebody detect this earlier? And we very often find these people have mental problems. People have known that for a long time. We sometimes find after the fact, unfortunately, that the parents have called the police and said, look, Tommy is psycho. We're really concerned he's going to get a gun and do something. Please do something. And the police don't do anything, or the mental health services people don't do anything. And in fact, Tommy gets a gun and goes in and does something like what you've seen today. So we don't know if that applies in this case, but there's a good chance it does. And it's funny when you talk about things like this. The left likes to talk about what they call common sense gun safety regulations, which is, much long-winded way of saying gun control. And you mentioned mental illness and checking mental health, and they start screaming about privacy. Oh my God, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, for some reason they're just opposed to doing anything that actually addresses the mental health or lack of mental health of a lot of these people, and they don't want to look at that. So I think that's a good place to start. I think people being able to defend themselves. We've seen other instances. I know this is, I think, in Texas not too long ago. Somebody walked into a church, kind of what you're describing, lifted his gun to open fire on the congregation. Before he could pull the trigger, a very quick-witted, armed person was able to defend himself and everyone else, opened fire and killed the gunman. And I don't think the gunman even pulled the trigger. It was down a couple of seconds. And it'd be nice in a place like Minneapolis if somebody had done this. But of course, being in Minneapolis and being in Minnesota, I'm sure there's all sorts of gun control, which of course didn't prevent the gunman from getting a gun, but probably kept the people in the congregation who might have been able to neutralize this guy from getting guns. So that's another aspect. So self-defense and also focus on mental health would be two things to do with this. The other is punishment. When people get away with crimes and people turn on the TV and say, oh, he got away with it. This person, either the crime wasn't solved or the person didn't go to jail. People figure, hey, let's grab a gun and join the fun. I think another thing, and I imagine some of the viewers might have a problem with this, but this is something that always upsets me in instances like this. You very often will see a case like this, and I know this is very true in the case in Charleston, South Carolina, where I think the man's name was Dylan Roof, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Went in with this church, prayed with a bunch of the congregants, and then after like 45 minutes of praying with them, he opened fire and killed like 9, 10, 12 people. It was awful. And very quickly people came in and said, we forgive you, we forgive you. I personally don't think people ought to be forgiven until they ask for forgiveness. And you lower the moral price for this sort of an outrage when somebody mows people down and kills them, and instantly the mother, the father, the relatives come in and offer their forgiveness. This says to the next person, hey, I'll go in and mow down a church, and there will be no price to pay because everyone will forgive me. I don't think that's good. Now, if somebody says, I was on drugs, I couldn't control myself, I did something terrible, I feel awful, I apologize, please forgive me, I feel terrible for the pain I caused, I'm remorseful, I beg your forgiveness, then I think it's okay to forgive people if you wish. But this blanket, just tossing forgiveness out like confetti, basically says to the next gunman, hey, I'll go ahead and do it because they'll forgive me for it. I think that's a terrible thing. So I really don't like this I think, promiscuous granting of forgiveness for people, especially when they go out and kill people, mow down their relatives, and next thing you know, they're forgiven and figure, well, I guess I'm going to heaven now for what I did. That's not a good thing at all, I don't think.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. Deroy, you've watched the president, as we all have, try to restore some law and order in Washington, D.C. He certainly has been successful in doing that. And this is after securing how long did it take him to secure the southern border? Days before people stopped flowing
About
in?
a month, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a massive decrease in the border crossings within the first month. It was really a matter of 3 weeks to a month, and things pretty much shut down.
Well, I'm reading a couple articles here that are talking about some of the poster boys right now who are getting the most attention when it comes to people who have gotten into our country through Joe Biden's open borders, and then also who are we're trying to figure out how to remove them. But the Democrats are so hell-bent on protecting Abrego Garcia, among others. We have this tragic story of this Florida trucker who was driving, and he can't speak English, doesn't understand American road signs, makes a U-turn out of nowhere, kills 3 people. The common sense that most of us have about, yes, these people shouldn't be here. The Democrats are advocating against law and order in D.C., advocating for Abrego Garcia, the Maryland dad. I mean, are we going to see a time where common sense starts to shake out and more Democrat voters, I should say, start to say, gosh, I guess I'm just with the red team on this one because the people on the left, they don't have any common sense.
It's very true in this case. I mean, look, the Democrats have left themselves in a situation where they are the party of crime. They are the party of violent, illegal alien criminals. They are the party of illegal aliens crashing into and killing American citizens. And you think at some point the Democrats would say, we really need to get a better poster boy than someone like Abrego Garcia. We know that this guy is our so-called Maryland dad is how they present him. He's just a poor guy who wants to take his kids to school and, take him to soccer practice and maybe pick up some pizza and, serve pizza to his kids and their friends. And it's also touching. Well, it turns out he's first of all, illegal alien, broke into the country, doesn't have any right to be here, number one. MS-13 member. He was caught on video in Tennessee, police cam video, driving, I think, 8 illegal aliens from Texas all the way to Maryland. These people didn't have any luggage. They weren't really here on legitimate vacation. So what were they doing? Right across the border, and he was facilitating the delivery as a human smuggler to do whatever jobs they were going to do illegally in Maryland. His wife repeatedly complained about wife beating, and there are documents on the record you can read about her saying, he woke up at 3 a.m, slapped me in the face. We're going to my daughter's birthday party, slapped me in the face again. So guy's a wife beater. And then this is something which came out, which I just saw last night. This is from a federal document filed June 6th. Government motion for detention, and it says here, this is issued in the U.S. District Court in Tennessee, and I quote, the government also learned that the defendant, who's Abrego Garcia, solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor beginning in approximately 2020, unquote. So he's at least suspected by the federal government of being involved in child pornography. At what point did the Democrats say, okay, we've got ourselves an illegal alien, gangbanger, wife-beater, human smuggler, and suspected child pornographer. Maybe we should find a different person for whom to root. And now their latest hot property, their latest pinup, if you will, is, as you mentioned, this guy Harjinder Singh, this 28-year-old illegal alien from India. He came to the country illegally. under Joe Biden, and in the state of Washington State, and in California, he got a commercial driver's license, even though he failed the English language exam and he was unable to read street signs. They said, okay, not only can you drive a car, you can drive an 18-wheel rig. And so he's driving through Florida a couple weeks ago, decided while driving an 18-wheel truck that would be a good idea to do U-turn and go through a little service road and then go in the other direction. And he's doing this illegal U-turn in this huge truck. A family of three, or I think mother, father, and friend, something like this, were driving along, smack into the side of the truck. All three of them are killed. He looks out the window and sees what's happened. It's all on video. You can look this up easily. The look on his face is like, oh, I guess a butterfly just flew by my window. I mean, it doesn't look even slightly miffed by this. I mean, no response, complete cold fish. And rather than say, get this guy out of the country, there are a bunch of people who've just gone on change.org and signed a petition begging Ron DeSantis to commute his sentence if he gets convicted and show him mercy. And this thing has something like 2 million signatures. So again, this is, and I'm guessing these are not mega Republicans signing this thing. These are probably liberal Democrats, 2 million plus of them, I heard maybe even 3 million, saying be nice to the guy who killed 3 Americans while he was an illegal alien driving a truck for which he should never had a license in the first place. And again, this is your modern Democrat Party. This isn't the traditional, Patrick Moynihan, Hubert Humphrey party, Walter Mondale party. Hey, let's tax the rich people a little bit more and be nice and give some food stamps and benefits to the poor people. This is a radical left-wing cultural Marxist party that now is comfortable with human smuggling, comfortable apparently with child pornography, comfortable with people driving big rig trucks and letting people smash into them fatally and ending up in graves. This is a completely psychotic Democrat party, and it's definitely not your grandma and grandpa's Democratic Party anymore.
Certainly isn't. And the numbers bear out that Americans are saying it's not for me and considering the alternative in a way that we haven't seen in my lifetime, possibly. Deroy, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on today. We look forward to having you each week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Likewise, happy Labor Day to you and yours and to our listeners.
You as well.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thanks. Bye.
Fox News contributor, Project 21 ambassador. Check out Project 21. It's worth your time. Nationally syndicated columnist as well. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll check in and see if there's any updates on this shooting that took place at a Minnesota Catholic school, Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. 17 injured, 2 children dead. The suspect went by 2 names, Robert and Robin. We'll be right back.
Mark Cox here for the Range St. Louis West. Right now, they're giving away a free basic handgun skills class. All you have to do is register for your chance to win. TheRangeSTL.com/971. I've taken this class. It's ideal for beginners. They have expert instruction. It's available in a women's only class if that's what you're interested in. The normal cost is $135. You can win the class right now at TheRangeSTL.com/971.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim, and if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesideRD.com today to start your dream renovation.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 49 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range. It's the Annie Fry Show.
If you change your mind, take a chance. I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got no place to go when you're feeling down. If you're all alone, when the pretty birds have flown, honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. Gonna do my
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy to be with you this afternoon. Gosh, it's nice outside. This is the way it felt. I every time you kind of have that first day that's got a little bit of the chill, like throughout the course of the day. Clear, late summer, early fall. Maybe you haven't hit the is it the autumnal equinox?
Yeah.
No, wait, vernal equinox.
Vernal spring.
Okay. Yes, it's an equinox. So, as soon as you get to that point, it's like, okay, it's fall. You're into fall, whatever. But there's always that moment it's usually early September, maybe mid-September, where all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is different.
This is early.
That's today.
Yeah.
And Dave Murray keeps saying it's supposed to be like that through the Labor Day weekend.
Well, that's going to be great. I was out at about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning outside, and it was very odd because if the wind blew a little bit, I was cold. If it didn't blow, I was hot. And I was starting to sweat, and then it would blow a little bit, and I'd feel great.
When you got to dress in layers, you
Yeah.
know, like a zip-up jacket, but nothing underneath it. That's what you always do.
Yeah, I don't wear
If it gets hot,
stuff
you just
under a jacket.
go topless.
Yeah, it's like it's the old Chippendale model.
Like
I was
like
never
the-
a Chippendale.
Like the
I'm
Chris
just-
Farley version or the
Patrick Swayze version.
One of the best Chris Farley SNL sketches ever, potentially. We're following the story in Minneapolis. There are some updates that are coming. We don't really want to report on anything until it's confirmed, but there's some pretty disturbing information that is out on the internet regarding the shooter. He did take his life after shooting up this school, this church. 2 children have lost their lives, 17 injured, and we're waiting for updates, praying for a full and speedy recovery for all of those who are dealing with this. What do you think about did you watch the coverage today on this morning? Like, did you have your eyes on the TV?
Yeah.
Watching these families walk their kids out of this school, I didn't like seeing that. I would not want, here's where Mouthy Annie would get herself in trouble. I would walk up to those cameras and be like, get out of here. Like, I don't think, is it important to see that? Is it important for the public to see parents who have just retrieved their children walk out of that situation? I don't think I didn't want to see it. Every once in a while, a student would walk out and you could tell they were upset. Certainly plenty of parents walking out and you could tell that they were trying to stay composed.
You're asking a big question here because it applies to not just this story. To me, with journalism in general,
I find it to be ethically questionable.
The goal of journalists always, especially with cameras, is to be an objective observer. So you are not a part of anything. You are just there recording it for news, for history, for whatever.
Like a window.
You are just there to document the fact that this is happening. The problem is, the minute a camera shows up, it changes what's happening.
Correct.
You can't...
A swarm of cameras and microphones.
Especially a bunch of them, exactly.
Yes.
So the minute a bunch of cameras show up, we learned this in 2014 in the Mike Brown case. There was a bank of cameras that would go to Ferguson, and they would all in a semicircle go around one spot, and there would be nothing happening in that spot. But people would go, there's a bunch of cameras pointing at this spot. And they would go light Molotov cocktails. And they would do things in that spot for the cameras. So
it is affecting the outcome.
It always affects the outcome. Even if you're just in a situation like this where you are walking your kid out, now you're thinking, oh, I can't necessarily just be in the moment with my child because now I'm a part of this historic moment, this national, international event that's being filmed. So that alone makes you say, well, maybe, I don't know how you'd change it, because they have the right to be in a public place and film that or record that. But it is odd because it changes what's happening in the moment.
The location of the cameras or the pathway of the exit. It's just what I'm thinking. I don't like seeing those people. All right, quick break. Chad Pergram, senior congressional correspondent for Fox News. Next, he was covering the DNC meeting. Let's find out from Chad Pergram how they're doing over there when we come back. Home Shield Foundation Repair. You find them by giving them a call. Call Matt Hayes, 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636. You can connect with them easily by making that phone call, but you can also go online to homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. They are very, very adept at this particular type of fix that you might need at your home. Unlevel concrete, uneven. If one part has sunken into the ground, maybe some erosion, some water has gotten in there and shifted the foundation the concrete has been poured on. Very, very problematic if it's in a part of a structure, like a garage. If you've got cracks happening there and you need to level it out, you need to have it addressed, reach out to Matt Hayes for a cost-effective way to do this. A system called polyjacking, which takes a polyurethane foam, injects it under the concrete, raises it up, levels it out, and he backs it with a 5-year warranty. 314-227-9636. That's 314-227-9636. Matt Hayes will take that phone call. He'll come out and assess your situation and tell you what he can do for you so that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. I think you, like many other 97.1 and Annie Fry Show listeners, will find that he is the best in the business, and you'll be recommending Home Shield Foundation Repair as well. Find him online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews, and Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property through eco-friendly forestry mulching. Missouri Brush Control can transform your overgrown acreage into accessible and usable land, and in a fraction of the time compared to conventional methods. Missouri Brush Control also cleans up around ponds, lakes, and dams, allowing easy access to your water feature. They service residential, commercial, and recreational properties with their specialized machines and years of expertise. Enjoy your land like you've always dreamed of. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com. That's MissouriBrushControl.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
From Belleville to Bridgeton, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're grateful that you were here with us on a beautiful afternoon here in St. Louis on 97.1 FM Talk. I want to quickly get to our guest. Chad Pergram joins us once again, a senior congressional correspondent for Fox News. Chad, thank you for your time today. It's always great to have you here.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I know that you're reporting on the DNC meeting that has taken place, and I have to think there's got to be a tall task in order for the Democrats who had a pretty devastating general election last November. My first question to you, if you were to assess how the Democrats are assessing the battlefield right now, are the Democrats still trying to beat Donald Trump, or have they started to look past Donald Trump yet?
They're still trying to beat Donald Trump. I mean, he is the foil. He's not going to be on the ballot next year, but let's face it, most midterms are about the party of the president. We saw that in 1994 with the Republicans slipping the House for the first time in 40 years, kind of a referendum on, President Clinton. We certainly saw it in 2018, President Trump's first true midterm, where the Democrats picked up more than 40 seats. And again, just the fact that he was not on the ballot didn't seem to help Republicans that year. We saw this in 2010, kind of a repudiation of President Obama and Obamacare, a 63-seat bloodletting by the Democrats. That's the record. So, yes, the party of the president and the president himself is often, who they're looking at, when voters go to the polls. In fact, there was just some talk this morning, at the DNC meeting, saying, there's no way that we can't, let him prevail, meaning talking about, former President Trump. I think that's key here and what they're kind of grappling with as they head toward next year. People will evaluate his policies, will evaluate the state of the economy, evaluate, what they've been able to achieve or not achieve. I was struck by, Malcolm Kenyatta, who is a DNC member who spoke today, and I'll just read you what he said here. He said, "We are not going to give this country over to some dictator with swollen ankles who thinks that he's going to be a king." And that tells me that they're running against President Trump.
Right.
By the same token, Ken Martin, the DNC chairman, says that, the Democrats have flipped or won 40 special elections or things that have happened in the past, 6-7 months of President Trump's term. They say they've overperformed in all those races. They won a legislative seat in Iowa the other day. You used the term battlefield a few minutes ago. Does that translate to the midterm battlefield, winning in special elections and off-year elections and things are just that, special? Sometimes they give you a sense of the political weather vane, but not always.
We're speaking with Chad Pergram, who's reporting on the DNC meetings taking place right now. I pretty much sum up the responsibility of the DNC, the RNC, and money, methods, and messaging. And I'm looking at the DNC and the Democrat Party as a whole, and it's my understanding they might have a little bit of trouble in the money department. The methods that they've used to try to gain power, certainly it's a different animal to win a special election than it is, as you pointed out, in a midterm or a general. And then the messaging standpoint. Are they looking introspectively at all at their party, or is it all about the swollen ankles guy in the Oval Office?
Again, they're still trying to figure out the non-swollen ankles part of this. Ken Martin indicated that there's a message out there, and he thought that even though the Democrats have had some money problems, that they have the money that they need. That's not to say that they don't have a lot of rebuilding to do there. They talked about, voters who they lost, who used to be associated with the labor movement. That has drifted toward President Trump, and he indicated that they have the money that they have. We'll see. Sometimes money will make a difference in those elections. But at the meeting, there was talk about DEI again. That's a problem. There was talk about, trying to pack the Supreme Court, and that would entail, overcoming a Senate filibuster, maybe changing the Senate procedures for a Senate filibuster. If the Democrats were in control of the Senate and the House, you'd have to do that legislatively. That's going to be hard, and that's something that seemed like that died on a hill, quite some time ago. So Democrats on the message part are not quite there yet. And to be fair, some of this is because it's hard to get past President Trump. It doesn't even matter if you're aligned with President Trump. He commands so much attention and so much news oxygen that the Democrats would be foolhardy not to address that, because, again, there are certain people who probably feel that, they're disaffected by his policies or how things have gone, and they're always ripe for the picking. Those people were not always aligned with President Trump, and they lost them to them, so Democrats think maybe they can win some of those people back.
The inner workings of any sort of political movement or political campaign is often very analogous to sausage making. So if you look at a DNC party meeting, they're trying to get to the bottom of where they stand on all these hosts of issues. The chances are you're going to have some infighting, because that's generally speaking, I assume, where that infighting gets ironed out, get the wrinkles out. The Gaza debate is going to be probably problematic, I would assume, for the DNC to figure out a solid place where the party is going to be on what's happening in the Middle East. Is there a pathway forward on this particular issue that satisfies enough people in the party for it to not be a problem?
Well, that was a flashpoint at the meeting yesterday where there was a resolution about the Middle East and Gaza that was voted down. And then Ken Martin, the DNC chairman, he propounded his own resolution, which basically said, we need to have a ceasefire and we need to have aid and humanitarian aid going into Gaza. Okay, fine. It passed. And then ex post facto, Martin withdrew it because he said, we want to have unity here. So they were even a little bit tepid in trying to get onto that. Maybe that signals some disorganization here. It's always hard for parties after they've had a particularly bad election to kind of put things together again. We certainly saw that in 2014 with the Republicans after they thought they were going to beat President Obama. They did flip the Senate there, but they didn't get the House of Representatives. I'm sorry, they didn't get the Senate until 2014. There was that kind of recovery because they thought they had him in 2012, and that just didn't happen. So it's always hard, especially after the Republicans. You might remember they went back and had kind of a postmortem to understand where the party was and said they were going to do a lot of things. And virtually none of those things they did. They did exactly the opposite. And look out that's prevailed for them. So the Democrats, just because they're disorganized doesn't mean they can't be successful. I'm fond of the quote from Will Rogers, who said, I am not a member of any organized political party. I am a Democrat.
That's good. Will Rogers, of course. Chad Pergram with us right now. Is there any obvious standout leading figure, face of the Democrat Party right now that seems to be the leading charge here, like a Newsom?
Well, there's a risk here for Gavin Newsom. This gambit that he's rolled the dice on in California with the redistricting. If he's able to prevail there, that probably boosts his party stature. It helps the Democrats in the House races, and probably gives him more leverage toward running for president in 2028. If he stumbles badly there, that's a problem. By the same token, you had Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, going to meet with Zohran Mamdani, the socialist, the prospective Democratic nominee for mayor here, who Jeffries, by the way, has not endorsed just yet. It's hard to believe that at the end of the day that Hakeem Jeffries will not endorse the Democratic nominee for mayor in his hometown. That's hard to believe, and Republicans obviously can lump onto that and say, we warned you for years about Ocasio-Cortez and that she was too progressive and too far to the left. We have a new flavor in town here. It's Mamdani, and he's even worse. So the stature of these folks and what the other side does, we talked about the Democrats running against President Trump. Well, the Republicans are kind of running against Mamdani, saying, you see, they're all in league with him and he's too far left. One of the big Achilles heels, though, for the Democrats is what's going on with crime. And we can talk about the statistics and talk about whether they're down or not. But, it's kind of like they used to say we're in a vibe economy. We're kind of in a vibe economy when it comes to crime in big cities. And even though some of the stats might, bear out, that they're actually, they haven't cooked the books or anything like that, it's a question of how people feel and whether or not you are, willing to invest and go shopping and go to dinner in some of these big cities. And because the Democrats have not necessarily prevailed on that issue, and President Trump, for right or wrong, has, National Guard forces in the streets of Washington, D.C., threatening to do the same in Chicago, guess what? People just don't feel, right. And if he has been able to champion that, and, Democrats say, well, we should fight for the rights of people in Washington, D.C. I got news for you. The moderate voters in the swing districts or even non-swing districts in the Midwest and South and places where Democrats have trouble winning, there is no constituency for Washington, D.C. there. And even though that might be the, quote, right thing to do, to argue for home rule in Washington, D.C. and against the boot of the federal government there in Washington, people just aren't going to care. They have to figure out a way to deal with that issue, and that's going to be very hard.
Chad Pergram, thank you for the time today. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you just very quickly. I noticed that this meeting is taking place in Minneapolis, and we have that tragic story at Annunciation Catholic School. I'm just curious if you've observed any reaction at the DNC meeting in regards to this school shooting that has taken 2 lives of 2 children.
Yeah, well, they were done by about a little bit after 11 Eastern time, and it was, not too long after the shooting. Ken Martin and others did, express that. They did not get too deeply into gun policy, which, can be a flashpoint issue. But they said, look, this is the type of thing that we're fighting for, so that, children can go to school and not face violence. That's something people from both parties probably agree with.
Yeah, I would think so. Chad Pergram, thank you for the time today. We're grateful for it.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. The senior congressional correspondent for Fox News covering the DNC meetings in Minneapolis, of all places today. All right, quick break. Let's get Ryan back in studio. We want to know from you, should trained armed security be present in all schools, yes or no? I'm an emphatic yes. Are you? Go vote. Annie Frey YouTube channel. In the live chat poll, you can find the poll list right there in the chat portion of our live broadcast. Come say hi. We'll be right back. The Dittamore Group. You find them online. This is easy to remember. It's thedittamore.com. If you think that a home listing is in your near future, now is the time to call Tammy Dittamore or her team, Zach, Pat, Abby, and Trisha, best team in the biz. 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. The Dittamore Group are experts at navigating a market that is kind of crazy. It's been crazy. Things have been a little less predictable as of late. Regardless of when you decide to list that home, you want to make sure you've put your absolutely best foot forward for the prospective buyer. And you really do need to have an expert come take care of positioning your home, because it's what's more personal than your home? Like, every inch of that place is partly your identity. You need to be able to strip that away so that somebody else can look at that home and say, I'd like to make my identity here, and I'd like to throw loads of money at you for it. Well, that's what the Dittamore Group is going to help you do from the very start. So you have that conversation with Tammy Dittamore at 618-531-4652, and you get started on the process to a very successful and happy real estate transaction. TheDittamoreGroup.com.
Mark Cox here. Join us live Thursday, September 11th at Chicken Ellie's in Eureka as we support Focus Marines Foundation. They're helping post 9/11 veterans transition to civilian life. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Every day on the Annie Frey Show, we ask you a big question of the day, and it's always our YouTube live chat poll. We ask you if you'd like to participate in that question. You go to YouTube, you type in Annie Frey, and today's date will come up along with the live stream. That's where the YouTube live chat poll always is. Today's question is, should trained armed security be present in all schools? Let us know. It's a yes or no, and we always give you the results of that poll at the end of the show, which we will close to 3 o'clock. 1:46 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Rooted in faith, grounded in family. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We appreciate you being along for the ride this afternoon. We've been covering updates on the school shooting in Minneapolis as they are released. Annunciation Catholic Church. Ironically, the Chad Pergram just talking with us. They're in Minneapolis for the DNC meeting there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's taking place there. He said that he that they acknowledged it and essentially said, like, this is what they said this is what we're fighting for, obviously fighting against school violence. The gun control conversation will fall out of this. And the reports on the shooter are that he did not have they said like an extensive criminal record. I assume that means he's had some speeding tickets. Hey, Brad, can you make that TV so I can read it? I'm trying to follow along here. If anything happens during that TV always goes dark. That when they say he doesn't have an extensive criminal record, that I presume that means that anything that is on his record, it's not safe to say he has no record. But if you've got some sort of
this or that
misdemeanor,
he's what, 20 years old, so I guess you could have a record by then for sure. He's not very old.
We have a mental health crisis in this country.
Yeah, we definitely do.
One of the things that I heard at the in a report after the cabinet meeting yesterday, President Trump was talking about RFK and Health and Human Services, and they're talking about the economical benefit to the country if we get our health system back in order.
Oh, wow.
And I hadn't really considered, that's next level thinking. That's big picture thinking. But if you understand how unhealthy we are as a culture, a society, whatever, and then how much government funding has to go to support people who need health care based on whatever conditions are the most prevalent. I'm sure obesity contributes to the most of it. All these things that intertwine in how our government functions, and healthcare is always the one. I've talked about this a million times. This is why when Jillian Michaels speaks about these things, I'm like eyes wide open, because she explains things that RFK Jr. is doing in a way that I can understand, and she addresses things head on. I appreciate her so much for that. But this is a different way of thinking about things that actually, in my mind, maybe they've sold me a bill of goods and I've just bought it hook, line, and sinker. But I actually feel like the result of whatever they're trying to do, like their goal to make America healthy again, has so many positive ramifications at the end of the day that it gets me excited about it. It's not just like red policy good, blue policy bad. That at the heart and soul of the actual issues that are trying to be addressed by this administration, by the people that this administration has willfully brought in to fix specific issues, like the laser focus of saying, I'll take a Kennedy in my cabinet and put him in there because he is the most passionate person I know with a keen focus on health and the guts to talk about it in a way that most people don't, that this cabinet is so focused on these types of things. And it's like, oh, yeah, of course, we want everyone to be healthy. But, let's talk about the cost of not being healthy as well. There's a ripple effect of how beneficial solving these actual problems will be for voters, citizens, taxpayers, everybody who's here. And I mean, that was one thing that I heard, and I'm like, well, obviously, duh. If we were healthier, we would have to spend less taxpayer-funded health care, and that's secondary to the fact that people would just be healthier.
I also like that they're just willing to take on the system. Because you talk about food and vaccines and medicine in general. Man, these are systems in place, and they are big money, and they got big influence and lobbyists, and these guys are not a part of that. And so when they say something, I don't know always, they're looking at science and they're looking at studies, sometimes decades long. And I have to just trust that what they say is true. But the approach is what I appreciate, that they are from outside of those orbits.
Well, how much do you know about Housing and Urban Development Secretary Scott Turner? I don't know a lot about him. But he was asked, this is around the cabinet meeting time, about the HUD department and those people who are living in government housing. Listen to what he says.
I was curious about some of the time limits on housing assistance. This is, housing that's already built that impacts millions of Americans. You spoke a little bit that some of the concern there was fraud, but I was wondering if there's, any worry about, you could be pushing out families who are dependent on these HUD programs that, this is really the only avenue they have to get housing.
You're talking about the proposed time limits?
Yeah, that's right.
And what is your question?
Just if there's any concern about whether you're going to be pushing out families that need that.
No, there's no concern at all. Government subsidies were never meant to be a lifestyle.
So I'm going to interrupt him here. This reporter is gingerly saying, you're going to be kicking people out of their homes. Have you thought about the ramifications of kicking people out of their homes? And he goes, are you talking about the time limits? And then he's like, yeah, you're going to be kicking people out of their homes. And he's like, are you concerned about that? And he's like, no. Now listen.
Have you ever met somebody that live in government housing? Personally?
I have. I've asked.
I met hundreds of people around our country. Government subsidies were never meant to be a hammock. They're meant to be a trampoline. We're always going to have people in our nation that need help. And we understand that from the heart of HUD. We understand that we'll have these people. I met a young lady in a certain city in our country that's been living in a certain housing project, which was deplorable. She's 52 years old. She's been living there since 1953. She's 52 years old. She's been living there since 1973. She's able-bodied, able-minded. She was raised there. She lived there. Now she's raising her children there. There's 3 generations living in government subsidies that are able-bodied, able-minded. That's not the way that our government and our country is supposed to be. And so when you talk about time limits are kind of an encouragement. It's like, hey, you can do this. Now remember, we're talking about able-bodied, able-minded people, not seniors, not the disabled. People who are able to work, people who have the ability to work, people who have the mental acuity to work and look for work, right? When you change the trajectory of someone's future by saying, you know what, we're not just telling you to work, we're going to have workforce training around you, we're going to have skill training around you to get out of government subsidies to live a life of self-sustainability. This is not Democrat, it's not Republican. Poverty has no party. You understand? Poverty is not red, it's not blue, it's not black, it's not white. It impacts everyone, indirectly or directly. So my heart, the president's heart, Senator Crapo's heart is this: how do we help able-bodied people change the conversation and say, you know what, you can do it. This is not political. This is, you know what, you can. So we're going to put time limits on here and help you to traject out of poverty, out of government subsidy to a life of self-sustainability. That's the heart behind this. Go and research Bill Clinton's bill 1996 when they did real welfare reform.
I was just going to bring
remember that.
Scott Turner. Get to know this man. He is good at what he does. You could have asked the question there. I understand that you're looking to put time limits on how long able-bodied, able-minded citizens are able to live in government housing. How do you plan to support those Americans' exit from government housing? But that's not the question, because that's not the perception. The political point here is, how dare you kick these people out of their homes? Do you have no heart? Do you have no soul? I would say the way of a bipartisan past is to just let those people exist at that level of reliance on government subsidy forever. Generationally speaking, you have a president and a cabinet now and a HUD secretary now. Ben Carson certainly was for this too in the first term, that cares enough about these people to give them the help they need to break the cycle. Now that is something to be celebrated. It's always in how you ask the question, though, isn't it? We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of, and fact check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Stewart's American Mortgage, Stewie, he is a bagel loan guy. The only place you can get a bagel loan. What's a bagel loan? Well, it's a mortgage. You got a mortgage, don't you? Most of us do. And if your mortgage has a super high interest rate, how about lowering that sucker? If rates have come down since you locked in your last mortgage, maybe it's time to refinance. And if it is time to consider a refinance, even a cash out refinance, you want to make sure that you get the best deal out there, and that best deal is with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. That's the number to call him, text him directly, and ask him how a bagel loan can help you. It could be for a new mortgage as well. Shopping for a new home, you need to make sure you get the best deal there. Why the bagel loan? This is the kicker. No closing costs. $0. $0 in closing costs. New mortgages, refinances. If you qualify for the bagel loan, you're not going to pay anything to go through that process. Duh, no brainer. 314-324-4440. You can call him or text him. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Many people dream of learning how to play the piano. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music, but few ever do. And here are a few of the reasons why. I can't read music, it will take too long, it's too expensive, it's too hard, or I've tried before and I failed. This would be true with most piano lessons, but not with Lacefield Music's innovative adult piano classes. With Lacefield Music's classes, you will learn how to read music and play with both your right and left hand the very first week. And you'll be able to play all your favorite songs in only 8 weeks. Maybe not fast, but you'll be able to play them. Lacefield Music's adult piano course is usually $100, but only twice a year we open this course up to the public for the low price of only $29.99. That's only $29.99 for all 8 weeks. What have you got to lose? Classes are forming now in our Chesterfield location. Call 636-778-2070 or go to lacefieldmusic.com to sign up online. That's lacefieldmusic.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. Flags are at half staff at the White House. I'm Lisa Brady. President Trump ordering flags lowered to honor the victims of what he calls senseless acts of violence in Minneapolis after a deadly attack on Catholic school students in church.
A gunman armed with a rifle, shotgun, and pistol approached the outside of Annunciation Church, where Catholic school students and worshipers gathered for a morning prayer, opening fire from the outside of the building into windows, killing an 8- and 10-year-old and injuring 17 others, some critically.
The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, dozens of rounds fired onto the Catholic prayer service before the gunman killed himself. The scene still surrounded by local state police, the ATF, and FBI, who are seeking answers.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. One hospital has 7 critical patients. Sources telling Fox the shooter is identified as Robin Westman, who was born Robert Westman. Court documents show Westman petitioned for a name change in 2019. One document cites the reason as, quote, minor child identifies as female and wants her name to reflect the identification. The Minnesota Star-Tribune is reporting that Westman's mother once worked at Annunciation School. The FDA approving updated COVID shots, but they may not be as widely available, now automatically cleared for older Americans.
And what the FDA is actually saying is over 65, go get a COVID shot if you want. Under 65, we either want you to have a pre-existing condition or we want a physician in the loop. And one of the things that happened during the COVID pandemic is that we physicians were not exactly as much in the loop.
Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel says this gives decision-making back to patients and doctors. America is listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-895-1414. That's 800-895-1414. 800-895-1414.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Our resort weather in late August continues. Almost have to check the calendar. Partly sunny skies, 79-80. Should do it for the high this afternoon. That is below average. Tonight, a few clouds around 60. On Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower, but really tough to find. 81, Friday, sunny and 82. Let's keep that pattern going right through Labor Day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For the sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back. 2 o'clock hour YouTube live chat poll. Should trained armed security be present in all schools? Yes or no? That's what we want to know from you. We are covering, watching the tragedy that has unfolded in Minneapolis this morning. A school shooting. 2 children were shot and killed alongside of their classmates while they were at Mass in the morning at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. Others injured, critically injured, some 17 in local hospitals there in Minneapolis. We pray for them. We pray for their families. We pray for, I don't know. My prayers pretty much just come, Lord Jesus, at this point. If there are more updates, specifically in detail of verified facts of information, we will bring them to you. But we're not going to spend the whole hour talking about it. Ryan, you said you wanted to talk about something?
Well, I mean, it's not super important, but it is kind of a funny...
You were just saying you had something.
Okay, I do have something. A man who thought he'd won $340 million in the lottery was left empty-handed thanks to a glitch on the game's website.
No. Excuse me, what?
He thought he had won $340 million in the lottery.
The state lottery?
Washington, D.C. Powerball. His name is John Cheeks, which is a really funny name.
Mr. Cheeks?
Excuse me, Mr. Cheeks. You did not win $340 million.
Why? Was it an error on the lottery?
Okay, so here's what happened. He bought a Powerball ticket on the 6th of January, 2023, using his family's birth dates to select his number. He missed the live prize draw, which most people aren't watching that every night. He missed the live prize draw, which took place the following day. But on the 8th of January, he checked the website. It'd been a couple days. He goes, oh, yeah, I want to see if I won. Cheeks was stunned to see that his winning numbers were there on the screen on the website, leading him to believe that he was now a multimillionaire. Oh. The entrepreneur, Cheeks, told local broadcaster NBC4 that he took a photo of the webpage, which did display his number for 3 days. However, when he went to redeem his ticket at a licensed retailer on the 10th of January, he discovered that the numbers on the website, which matched the ones on his ticket, did not match those which were actually drawn during the live Powerball broadcast. So the website was off. Cheek said then he went to the D.C. Office of Lottery and Gaming to check if he was still eligible for the prize, but he was soundly rejected. One worker told him, that ticket's no good, just throw it in the trash.
How long after winning that sum of money, how long would it take you to believe that it was real?
I don't know once you started living differently, because you could, with $340 million, even if taxes come out and it's half of that, you could live a very different lifestyle for the rest of your life if you wanted to. It would be at the moment that I went, oh, I can just do blank, whatever that is.
After you have the money? Is it when you see the numbers? At what point are you like, this is my new life?
I'll tell you, I think what the moment would be, we all live on budgets, obviously. When you live on a budget, you have to tell yourself no all the time.
And your no's change over the course of your...
Yeah.
And it's like there are things that'll happen where you realize, oh, I just did something and I didn't do math.
Yes.
To do said thing. And it could be a little thing. It could be getting gas.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that I noticed when my husband and I first got married. I was working, I've told the story before about my first internship as a communications student at SIUE in the mass comm department there. I interned at KFNS, Frank Cusmano. It's great. And that's unpaid, but you get college credit for it. So that's the compensation. That's just kind of part of the game. I had 2 or 3 other jobs at that time. Just I didn't get paid for the radio gig. And then I remember at KFNS, this is how much things have changed. And I think Obama changed a lot of this with his, like the way people get paid. But unpaid internships, I don't know if that exists anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
College credit can be a compensation for it, but there are so many things that have to be to make it qualifying. In radio, there used to be interns all over the place. You'd have like as many interns as you'd have paid employees. And it was a really great way to get exposed to the business, which is oftentimes like very much so who you know as much as it is what you know.
Yeah, and get your foot in the door and see if you could make it, see if you had what it took.
And so I did that. And since I was so good at my unpaid internship, they called and offered me the opportunity when I was done, which was really excited to continue my unpaid internship.
That's very generous.
After I graduated. Hanny, we love you. We think you're great. We would like to give you the opportunity to stay on and keep working for free.
It's incredible. I would imagine you took that right away.
I did. I didn't have another job. It was like we have some opportunities for you to come in and keep learning the ropes. I don't know. It was a bunch of crap. But that's just the way the business was then. I mean, I'm sure people listening right now have stories that are similar to like, this is what you just did. You did what you had to do. It's not like I didn't have a job. That was not a possibility to just not have a job and, take out loans to pay for my cable TV, which I didn't have either. So I continued my unpaid internship. I remember I was in Peoria, Illinois at a volleyball tournament in the middle of October when they called me to tell me they'd like to hire me to part-time board op, and I was over the moon. They're like, we're going to pay you $7 an hour part-time. And I was like, I'll take it.
Wow. It's going to buy my lunch.
Gosh, you remember that one time when I didn't mute my phone?
No, I don't.
I don't either. But the difficulty of like trying to make it through in the business and trying to push through and take up opportunities whenever you could, but you get to the point where you are counting pennies every paycheck. You look at your paycheck and you already know where your paycheck is going before it hits your checking account.
Yeah.
And I was driving to Webster Groves from Hamel, Illinois. And when I was doing that, I think gas was like, is it going to hit $5 a gallon?
Oh, okay. So this is 2008, 9-ish?
Yeah. Is it going to go to 5? And I remember thinking to myself, I could work minimum wage in Illinois anywhere for less than I was making at KFNS. But it wasn't the career I wanted to be in. So I just kept doing it. But we wouldn't go places because we couldn't afford, we had to get to work. I was just recently, we went to get gas. We needed gas in our car. We filled up our car. And I never had to do math or check things. And I thought to myself, like, because I still have that kind of feeling of going to the gas pump and kind of going like, oh, man, this is going to cost $75 or something. Now it's about $50. It's kind of the same feeling. You've talked about this before, I think. If you have like a gully washer of a rainstorm, if you've ever had massive tree damage or trees that kind of fall apart when storms come in, or if you have a leaky basement or something like that, you might fix the whole problem. You might move to a completely different location, but that storm sets in and you just have that gut reaction of, oh.
It's been 2 years since I had.
For your basement?
Since I think
Tim Grotenfeld,
GHR, who's been on the show
windows.
for X's and O's before.
Mm-hmm.
He came and fixed everything, and I mean fixed it, because it was a long process to figure out where the water's coming from, all the stuff that you got to figure out. He came and fixed it. But to this day, if I'm in, it's different if I'm upstairs. If I'm upstairs, I don't think about it. If I'm in the basement and I hear rain, I just get this
sick
shot up my spine that I go, uh-oh. And I tell myself, no, it's fine, because we've seen now, it's been years, it's fine. Have you ever seen the movie Masterminds from 2015 with Zach Galifianakis?
No. That's kind of a contradiction.
I know. It's about a true story about a guy who robs a bank. And they make it funny. But the real story is this guy robs this, I can't remember if it's a banking truck or a bank, but he robs a bank and has truckloads of cash. And this happened in the late 80s, early 90s. And they interviewed him for the film. And they asked him, what were you planning on doing with all the money? And he said, I don't really know, because he's in jail now.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't really know, but there was a moment, exactly the moment you're talking about, where he said, I realized I was rich because I always went to Walmart to buy stuff, and I didn't have to go there anymore. I could just go wherever.
Yeah.
And it was a moment that Zach Galifianakis said always stuck with him in the interview, because it was a very human moment, even from this criminal.
Yeah. That
you realize, oh, things have changed for me.
I would have that, if I were that person, what happened to that person? Like, I have the winning ticket. These are the numbers. I'm a bazillionaire. It would take a long time after the money was in my account where I'd be like, do I get to keep this?
I know.
Like, I don't think I would. I think Powerball did someone win the Powerball on Monday? I got a story in my algorithm Monday night, I think, and it was like did someone win it?
I don't know.
It's like it's maybe $750 million or something, and the next drawing was going to be Wednesday. And I said to my husband, because every once in a while, when it becomes a news story and it crosses my mind, I don't think like, oh, did you get the Powerball ticket this week? But when people start talking about it, I'm like, yeah, I'll go. And I just said to my husband, I go, can you imagine just having that money and not, like we're talking about building a house right now and maneuvering every single possible angle we can to be able to responsibly afford a house that we want to live in for the rest of our life. And so like I'm up to my eyeballs in money things. Can you imagine what it would be like to have that kind of money? Like just all of the sudden, there are people who have that kind of money and they have decades and decades of hard fought blood, sweat, and tears poured into it. And they're like, yeah, I can imagine it because I worked my tail off for it. Just one day going, holy cow, this is it now? I can imagine that there would be a great burden that would come along with it.
Well, I've heard that the family burden that comes along with winning the lottery is massive. Everybody you've ever known in your life comes out of the woodwork. It's like, hey, and they might not even be directly asking you for anything. They're just wanting to be, it's got to be like being
associated,
a celebrity. Everybody just wants to be around you. They're not wanting anything in particular.
You start to wonder if anyone actually likes you.
Yeah. And you've heard the stories too, because you said, when you work for your money, you value that because you know what it took to get it. If you didn't work for it, that's why they say most of the people who strike it rich in the lottery, not you won $500,000, you won $1 million. That's cool. But these people who win a lot of money, they just go nuts and they spend it fast and they end up broke. They end up worse than they did before they won the lottery.
Also, people who, if you come into money that way versus if you work hard, you build something, you earn it. There'd be a lot of people in your life if you earned it. There'd be a lot of people in your life who were there when you didn't have it. So you'd kind of have an understanding of who was there with you the whole way. If you just have this big pile of money fall in your lap, there are going to be a lot of people in your life who are like, you didn't work for that money, you didn't earn that money, you just got lucky. And they're going to think that that somehow not necessarily entitles them to some of that money, but they're going to discredit the fact that you're entitled to it. And I think, I would question, probably to my own detriment, I'd probably hurt good relationships that I had by questioning if people really cared an iota about me as a person. I'd question everything all the time, that if anyone ever did anything nice to me, like, oh, you just like me for my money. Yeah. I think that would be really challenging.
Somebody drops off an Amazon package. Get out of here. You just want my money.
You're like, yeah, it's Amazon. All right, Ethan Sports and Local next on the Annie Fry Show. Don't go away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. I encourage you to get to know the Hayeses, this family business here in St. Louis. Matt Hayes, great guy. And you just meet people who do things like this, these types of contracting or whatever, that take care of foundation issues or just these types of services where they come to your home and they fix something and make it better and they leave. You're grateful that they have that skill, but you just meet people and those are good people. Matt Hayes is that, and his family is that, and his business, his crew, they have a great, tight crew, people who love doing good business with good people. And that's why I like connecting you, good people, with Home Shield Foundation Repair. For the cracked and uneven, unlevel concrete at your home, at your business, you want to make sure that you have the very best. Come fix that in a cost-effective way. They're not going to take advantage of you. They're going to solve your problem with polyjacking. You just give them a call at 314-227-9636 for your driveway, sideways, walkways, even for garage floors, that foundation, that's going to need to be assessed. Patios, pool decks, commercial and residential, industrial concrete as well. Call Home Shield Foundation Repair at 314-227-9636. Online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. You know your trees can't talk, but if they could, they'd be calling me. From trimming to treatments, we'll make your trees the healthiest and happiest on the block. Call us before your trees start giving you the silent treatment. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
Smart talk, strong values. This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hold up. Check it out. Sports and local.
Magic Merlin baby starfish suit.
So that's another one that doesn't make any sense. And I sincerely apologize for that. I was up late writing those one night, and that one just came to me.
How late?
It was probably 8. You know, I was just tired.
It's not late.
I was falling asleep in the chair.
He said 8.
Sending stuff off to our voice guy. It was a rough night.
Magic Merlin's baby starfish suit?
Yeah, and by the way, those put kids to sleep really well.
What even is that?
It's a little product for babies. Puts them to sleep.
Okay.
I was checking my voicemail when you aired it.
Yeah, I know.
What we're talking about. I'm sorry.
I could tell.
Well, we're doing all this professional radio stuff coming straight into it, so I didn't let the music. I had a 20-second voicemail that I had to take.
It's a long one.
It actually cut off, and I didn't hear the end of it, so it wasn't even worth it. What was it?
Magic Merlin baby starfish suit has really nothing to do with Ethan. But we got to where we were saying Earthin and Murfin.
It's really appropriate that these have turned into what I would consider like knockoff, generic, artificial intelligence Ryan Wiggins. You are like the back alley AI service that everybody can use, but at the end, nobody can really use.
Eventually, it's going to be like Doobie Doobies, Doobers, and Doobies. Or something stupid like that.
Write that
Look
down.
at he's going to use your voice on your intro, and it's probably going to happen Monday.
Yep.
Well, we won't be here Monday.
Doobie-doobie-doo. All right, sports and local. Ethan, what do you have?
I have something really, really local for you guys.
Is it like from this room? Is it in the room with us?
In this building local.
He's in the room with us now.
Have you guys happened to be out in the common area at any point, like in between the hours?
No,
or
there's no
anything yet?
time.
Yeah, we can't leave
There's
the
no
studio
time.
ever.
It doesn't smell
from noon
good.
to 3 anymore.
It doesn't smell good.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Before the show, I saw that. I smelled that.
You saw it? It's that bad?
I
There
could
is a
see it. There was
source.
wavy stink lines in the air.
I think there's a source coming from one of our restrooms.
It's still bad now?
It's still bad.
That was at noon.
I know.
So is it a sewer issue?
That's what I think.
Oh, that's good because I thought
Ryan
it was
walked
Ranji.
out and saw Chris Ranji from KMLX going in there, and we've talked about this before in X's and Y's about girls and boys in the bathroom, but Ryan made a big scene about it was totally not me, which you were telling that story before the show started that you met Chris Ranji.
Well, I was walking
and
out.
you were advocating hard that it wasn't you, and I thought to myself, it was totally Wiggins.
It was not me.
It
I
was
didn't
so
even
bad.
poop.
Oh.
And I told Ranji that.
Oh, and so like your word is your bond.
Yes.
You walking out of there and you say I didn't even.
I said, "Look, buddy, this
poop."
is not me."
And then Ranji's like, "It's good enough for me."
He said that one of the producers told him to get ready because it was that bad. And I said, okay, good to know that I didn't have to confirm that it wasn't me, that it's already made its way around the building, that it was getting bad.
Trisha walked up to me while I was eating my lunch.
Right
and
by
said,
the bathroom. Her
she
office
said-
is right by it.
Yeah.
She said, "Hey, could you do me a favor?" I was like, "What?" She said, "Could you take a whiff of the men's restroom?"
Oh, that's hazard
It's like,
pay.
come on.
Material.
I'm glad
So-
to hear that it was not a person, because if a person had done that, that person would be dead. That would be the rotting insides of a person.
Are there any other
Evil
stories?
escaped
Are there
her
any
body.
less local
That's
stories?
all I got.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Crap.
kidding. Oh, but
Senator from Indiana.
This was announced early in the week. Belle Reve Country Club is going to be hosting one of professional golf's premier playoff events, the PGA Tour's BMW Championship, next summer from August 17th to 23rd at Belle Reve Country Club, according to PGA Tour schedule announcement. It's been preparing to host its second BMW Championship ever and its first since 2008. If you recall, the last time that PGA Tour came to St. Louis, it was in 2018. It was at Belle Reve Country Club.
It's a huge deal.
And it was a massive deal because it was basically the revival of Tiger Woods'
yeah.
like late run in his career. And you have that iconic shot of them walking towards the 18th hole, and you see Tiger walking down the hill, and there's just hundreds of people following
St. Louis
him.
really made a name for themselves
They
in
did.
the golf world.
They did.
Because of that. My husband went to 2 of those days. One day he went with a friend, and I think the other day he just went by himself. This is not X's and Y's, but I think that this is a difference between men and women. I think men are more willing to just go do things by themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there are things that I would go, like I can sit at a restaurant and do work or whatever and not have to have someone there. But I cannot imagine going to like a sporting event or something and just sitting there and watching it alone. But he did. And I think he had a great time with his friend that he went to, but I think that just being there, I don't know, I just think that's a unique thing about men.
I went to watch that in 2018 also, but I think I went to the wrong course because I went to Legacy and Granite, and the golfers were not as good. You ever been to the BM Dubs yourself?
I'm taking your advice and letting it breathe.
Legacy in Granite is a fine golf course. I've golfed that golf course before.
But it wasn't professional golfers. I found that out about 3-4 hours later after the round was finished.
Oh, really?
Because the scores were coming in near 100.
Took you a long time.
I was like, I don't recognize that guy.
Ryan, if you go out and golf 18 holes, what are you okay with shooting, Mr. Pro Golfer from high school?
If I'm not breaking 70, I'm upset.
On the first round? First 9?
On 9, yeah. On the first 9. And this is Yorktown.
Realistically.
If I can shoot bogey golf, then I'm happy.
Okay.
Which is not always happening.
No.
But I can regularly
My
do
son is on the golf team at his high school.
I wish I would have.
I
love that for him.
We've always encouraged him, like, just do it. If you suck, you'll get better. Everybody else in the world who doesn't join the golf team, we all do the same thing, but we suck in adult life and sometimes don't ever get better. Go golf for free for 4 years or however long they'll let you stay on the golf team and learn.
7th year senior.
And get better. Yeah. He's a red shirt. But he's getting better at it. And he competed, I think they went to Cahokia or Dupo. I think it was a Dupo match.
Oh, I love playing at those municipal courses against those teams, man.
But
I was on the golf team too.
Yeah.
In high school.
I'm kind of outing him. He would tell you, like, he's not a great golfer, but he is getting better. And, like, how good do you have to be to, in your adult life, be able to go golf with people? Bogey golf would make most people happy.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
I would say that's actually pretty average.
I was going to say, I think
like being 5'9".
Most people are trying to... You're the most average person I know,
Thank
Ryan.
you.
You just understand that.
Thank you. I'm above your expectations, though, which are very low. So
Depends
I'm happy
on the day. Breaking 100, I think, is what a lot of people want to try to do. Don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah, especially if you don't golf a lot.
Like, if you break 100, you're, like, telling people.
Correct.
The first time you do it, it's a big deal.
Yeah. First time I ever broke 100 was in Chicago. I actually beat Jarrett by 1 stroke.
Really?
I played out of my mind. I don't know what was happening. He was. I could tell, like, at the first part of that golf outing, he was, like, really happy for me because he really wants me to love golf. He wants me to golf because then he thinks he can golf more. Although I'm like, get up and go golfing. I don't have to go with you. And so at the beginning, he was like super pumped that I was enjoying it because I'm super competitive. And then I could tell, like, we were getting through it a little bit. And he was like, okay, knock it off. I think I beat him by a stroke. And I've never, like, I beat him by, like, 1 stroke. And I don't think I come within 10 strokes of him ever again. I don't know what happened that day. Anyway, sorry.
The BMW Championship this year was just played within the last week and a half. And Scotty Scheffler won it. Surprise, surprise there.
Have you seen Happy Gilmore too?
I have.
Have you, Ryan?
Yeah.
Have you, Brad?
Oh, yeah.
It's as good as the first in its new time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first one's better, but
I mean, to have
it's the best sequel you could have hoped for.
Yes,
yes,
there it is.
And they didn't like everything about it was good. There were no weak spots. It completely understood what it was supposed to be.
Very true.
Yeah, see Happy Gilmore too if you haven't.
Moving on, a couple of quick stories here, rapid fire. There was a fire very close to Interstate 64 this morning that was drawing some attention because of some of the videos. Interstate 64 actually had to be closed for about an hour.
Whoa, this is video on our stream? That's
from
Fox
today?
From First Alert 4. Yeah.
Wow.
Smoke from an abandoned warehouse forced Interstate 64 at Grand Boulevard to be closed for about an hour. Now it's been open for a couple of hours since. Reopened around 11:20. But according to the St. Louis Fire Department, the fire was a burning warehouse at the intersection of Vanaventer Avenue and Market Street. The fire department said that it was on the 2nd floor of the building. There was nobody in the building, which is a good sign, good news, and nobody injured as well. It partially collapsed, the building did, around 11 a.m.
And it's very smoky. I would be very concerned to be driving past that.
Sure is.
I'd be thinking, is there more stuff going to blow up? Because that fire and that smoke is pretty thick.
Yeah, what do you do if you're on the interstate? Because you can't just turn around.
And you can't see the other side of it, so you don't
can't
know
see
what you're
through
going
that.
into. I think I stopped.
Ooh, that's dangerous too, though.
Yeah.
Everybody would be slowed down. I would just...
You'd have to go real slow.
Yeah, just for a long time. Super slow. All right, Ethan, thank you. We appreciate you. Let's take a quick break. YouTube live chat poll: should trained armed security be present in all schools? Yes or no? YouTube live chat poll. Go vote. We'll be right back.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Hey there, cats and kittens. It's Brian from The Commercial Break, the mediocre comedy podcast where my best friend Chrissy and I attempt to make sense of the world. We talk about the absurd, the ridiculous, and the stuff no one asked for, like internet weirdos, pickup artists, and why everyone is obsessed with crystals and colonics. It's all got to stop. The show is free, it's frequent, and it's probably not for everyone. You can go to tcbpodcast.com, subscribe at youtube.com/The Commercial Break, or check out the show wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you on the next Commercial Break. And best to you.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
The YouTube live chat poll today is asking you, should trained armed security be present in all schools in light of the news today? Yes or no? We'll give you the results shortly. It is now 2:30. I keep waiting because it's just about to switch. 2:34. There it is in St. Louis. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You are my fire, the one desire, believe when I say I want it that way.
Do you like this song?
I don't hate it.
Be real.
I don't hate it, but I never really loved it when it came out, and I never changed my opinion.
Oh, I did.
It's not a bad song.
It's a great pop song.
It's just really lame.
Why?
Because it's the Backstreet Boys, and I was 20.
Intimidated? You were not 20.
How old was I? 18? This
is Millennium. I think this came out in 98, 99.
Yeah, I was about 18, 19. I wasn't way off. Now you're eating your words.
You were in high school when this came out.
I was real close. I would have been senior or early college.
And you just didn't like it because the girls like them.
It's like if you're an 18-year-old guy, you're not supposed to like that stuff, but you're supposed to secretly like it.
What do you mean secretly like it?
That you hear it and you go, ugh, here we go again. And then you find yourself singing it and you're like, it's not a bad thing.
Millennium came out in 1999.
Yep. I would have been a senior.
Do you turn it off in your car if it's just you?
I don't ever turn it on.
You sing Brian's parts, don't you?
No, AJ's. He's the bad boy.
He is.
You know how I know that? I met him. I think I've told this story before.
Was he nice to you?
He was not nice. He just didn't care. He didn't care about me. Isn't that weird? And now here I am on the radio, much bigger deal than even he is. I couldn't say that with a
Have you
straight face.
seen any of the things from the Sphere in Las Vegas?
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Would you enjoy going to see that?
Yeah, just because of the technological experience of it.
Yeah, I really was interested in it.
Is the Sphere just concerts or do they do movies there?
No, I don't think they do movies. I think they do like experiences. Like I think.
Okay.
I mean, there's certainly a lot of concerts.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure John Mayer and the Grateful Dead. What do they call themselves now? They
don't care.
Okay. I care about John Mayer. I've had the opportunity to go to some of his. What's not called the Grateful Dead? They don't call themselves the Grateful Dead. I've had the opportunity to go to some of those concerts, and I was like, I just can't. Like, John Mayer is tops for me. I don't need to see him with his other woman.
Oh, yeah.
The Grateful Dead, like, the way he plays guitar and the way he sings and the songs that he writes, I love everything about it. But, like, that's not for the people who are there like me. There is a crossover of people who like John Mayer for what he does and the people who like the Grateful Dead. I'm not it. And I don't
like
need.
You're narrowing your audience there quite a bit. If you're not doing any John Mayer songs at those concerts.
No, it's because it's not for John Mayer. It's the Grateful Dead has welcomed in John Mayer.
Okay, so it's for Deadheads.
Yes.
And it's just that he's kind of leading.
Yes.
This. Okay.
But he's there.
Gotcha.
Which I thought would probably Dead and Company. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate you. That's what it's called. Dead and Company. That's the John Mayer Grateful Dead collab. I considered it, and I'm like, no. I just don't want to see him doing something else. But the Deadheads love him.
So there is, and I don't know if it's the Sphere or if it's called something else. And there's a few locations, but they're opening more around the country. That I saw a video of this, and I'm like, wow, that is incredible. And the only movies I've seen on it so far, not seen the movie, but that are existing on the platform, are Wizard of Oz and The Matrix. So weird variety there. But they show the movie as is. And
wait, Doug Dial just said on here, I saw they did The Matrix there, and it was amazing.
Okay, so maybe it is that same thing.
Yeah.
Where they show the movie as is, and it's got the tilt to it because it's a surround screen. But then it also goes all the way around. You kind of like Omnimax.
Like Omnimax, yeah.
But they make the rest of the scene, like you can see beyond the corners of the film. So the rest of the scene outside of it is playing out. And I don't know exactly how they do it because they didn't shoot new material.
Probably AI.
But
they probably
that's
just
probably
said,
right.
They probably took they probably put the movie into some artificial intelligence and said, here are the screen dimensions. I bet you if you watched the extra screen spaces, there'd be some six-fingered people.
Maybe, but it's more landscape. So Neo's on top of the building. They're shooting at him. He's avoiding the bullets. But you can see all of the other buildings in New York around you. Or he's in the bank, and he's running up the walls. You can see all the rest of the bank. So it looks incredible that they were able to do it. And everybody who says they see it says, wow, it's amazing.
Kevin says, I had a customer that works in Vegas say that things are slow there now. People don't gamble as much as they used to, and all the prices have gone way up for food and lodging. Yeah, I bet. I think that that's where when you're feeling good and you got a little extra cash. You're like Vegas has got to be one of the number one places that sees the bump in that, and probably one of the first places that sees the kick in the pants when it's not like that.
That's what they say they're worried about with Vegas, is that it's a sign of things slowing down. But nobody knows because they're also showing the prices in Vegas compared to previous years in Vegas, and everything is so sky high that they said, well, maybe they're just pricing people out of Vegas.
But I saw like a bucket of White Claws that was over $200.
Crazy.
At the pool. It was
at a hotel.
Yeah, it was insane.
White Claws.
Yeah, don't go after White Claw. You go after anything.
Oh, that's just the picture I saw.
White Claw is my jam because I drank it once at an Annie Fry Show event.
He drank 2 sips. He didn't even finish it.
I didn't even finish it. Set it down. Walked away, and everybody's like, oh, Ryan's drinking White Claw. You'll never live this down. And I haven't. Thank you very much.
Nobody here associated it with you until you did just now.
You were about to.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
No, it's just a wink and a nod to the longtime AFS listeners.
Well, now
But since you mentioned it.
Now it's out there.
Lightweight.
I do get drunk very easily.
You don't even get drunk.
I do for 15 minutes.
No, you don't. You just get goofier, which
do.
is amazing.
I just get like,
you should be studied by science.
Oh my gosh. I love all you people. You're the best. I don't even know you. You want to be a friend? Let's be friends.
You're like a 4-year-old. It's the same thing.
Look, the triangle thing goes in the square one.
It's the same thing. Hey, you guys, do you ever watch Waters World?
No.
Not Waters World.
I
What's
watch
it called?
clips.
Jesse Waters
Jesse
Primetime?
Waters.
Do you watch it?
Every now and then, yeah.
So Johnny is his producer. He does the man on the street thing. Do you know what his little catchphrase thing is at the end of his little man on the street things? Do you know what it is, Brad?
No.
He says, "Here's Johnny."
Okay.
It's the reason I said Waters World is because Jesse Waters used to be the man on the street for Bill O'Reilly. Jesse Waters was Bill O'Reilly's producer. Jesse Waters used to come on Bill O'Reilly's show and do some of the things that he now has other reporters at Fox News come on to his show and just kind of give updates on, like a rapid fire news and stuff that's going on in the news, whatever. So now Jesse Waters has Johnny go to, out in downtown New York City, Manhattan, onto the beach, wherever it might be, and interview people. And at the end, he asks all these. I think it's my favorite thing on Fox News, is Johnny's segment. And at the end, Johnny always asks people like, "Do you know who I am?" And they're always like, "No." And he goes, "Here's Johnny," and he points at the camera. And we were driving to a volleyball game just yesterday, just driving in the car. And all of a sudden, Molly's in her seat, and she just goes, "Here's Johnny." And then she just started asking random questions of people who weren't there. "How old are you? Where do you like to go to school? What do you like to do for fun?" It's unbelievable. And then my 9-year-old daughter, we got out of volleyball practice the other day, and we're leaving. She's like, "Mom, can we go home and watch The West Wing?" I'm like, "Don't say that in front of people." What am I doing to these kids?
Yeah, really.
What am I doing to these kids?
Things that 9-year-olds should never say.
"Here's Johnny, and can we go watch The West Wing?"
West Wing?
But I don't know if you remember this when you guys were kids, but I'm pretty certain. I think my oldest two enjoy watching The West Wing because they have a pretty strong grasp for at least their ages, of the fact that the White House exists and that there are people who work with the president to make things, happen. It's not just some mythical presidential creature who lives far, far away. So they understand a little bit more, so they can watch The West Wing and kind of bring the context of what you're watching, which is a drama, into today and understand the relation there. But I'm pretty sure that the younger two, like when they ask for it, that just means that the family is going to sit down in the family room together and watch something on TV. So I think that the request from the 9-year-old and the 4-year-old, if they say that, has a lot more to do with the fact that they've identified The West Wing as something that brings our family together, where we're all sitting down there, where not going to bed, which I think is the A1 reason why they like it. But just the idea of being together and doing something together, The West Wing is now that for my kids. And I've thought that, and I like that, and I like that The West Wing is something, at least up until this point, I can put on. It doesn't have anything gratuitous in it. So for
it doesn't have language in it at all?
There might be a D word or an H word or
but
something
like,
but it's not regular.
Well,
and it was on
if it was on broadcast
TV. So it had to meet that muster. Plus, it was on in the 90s. Things weren't as aggressive in the 90s. And the fashion that you're watching on there is the 90s, so it also isn't much. So
you're training them well.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I have to remember that it's a Democrat administration, so
yeah,
we actually do have a lot of pause, and let's talk about that policy.
Let's go home and watch The West Wing, and also look at the standard deduction this year on our taxes.
My 9-year-old walking out of volleyball practice in front of other parents. "Mom, can we go home and watch The West Wing?" And I'm like, "You shut your mouth."
Not in this house.
Quick break. When we come back, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota is speaking. We'll see what he has to say regarding this tragic shooting in Minneapolis. We'll be right back.
Mark Cox here. I've got your shot at seeing the Doobie Brothers live at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater Wednesday, September 4th. We're giving away tickets all this week. You're going to want to listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show. Tune in each morning for your chance to win.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
Annie Fry is back because truth doesn't take a break. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Governor Tim Walz is speaking in Minneapolis right now. Let's go in and listen to it.
A news conference that no one wants to be at. A community behind us, Annunciation Church and School, committed to academics, service, and Catholic values, filled with the first days of school of beautiful children going to learn those values, share with their teachers and their classmates. And instead of that joy and that curiosity and that learning, they were met with evil and horror and death. And we often come to these and say, these unspeakable tragedies, or there's no words for this. There shouldn't be words for these types of incidents because they should not happen. And there's no words that are going to ease the pain of the families today. On behalf of all the people of Minnesota, our deepest sympathies. A wish that any of these words would make what you're feeling now better, but it won't. A place that's founded on community, founded on service, founded on family. I'd like to give special thank you to the mayor and the team in Minneapolis, the Minneapolis Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, Minnesota State Patrol, the BCA, so many agencies, our federal partners in the FBI, the first responders, and the heroic work that's happening now as we speak at multiple medical locations, including Hennepin County Medical Center, where most of our children were transported to receive the life-saving care. The thoughts and prayers and the hopes and the support that we need to give them in this moment, too, is critical. Speaking with all the people here and grateful to our federal partners, Senator Klobuchar speaking early this morning and receiving a call from President Trump, who was with his leadership team of the Attorney General and the Vice President, expressing their deep condolences amongst the horror that happened and an offer to provide the support to the folks here in Minnesota of what's needed. So there's a lot of cameras here, and unfortunately, we've been through these types of things. They will be gone at some point. All of you, you have to do your jobs. But what happened here today will not be gone. Minnesotans will not step away. We'll stand with this community. We'll redouble ourselves to do the best we can to understand what we can do to prevent any parent from having to receive the calls they received today, from any school dedicated to children having to respond to a situation that, as we said, is unthinkable, but that's all too common, not just in Minnesota, but across this country. It's Minnesota's day to day, and it's my strongest desire that no state, no community, no school ever experiences a day like this. So I ask the rest of the folks around the country who are watching, keep us in your thoughts and prayers, but also keep us in the thoughts for action. Keep us in the ideas that we can work together. And it's on these days like this, I think, and I hope we can hold on to it, we are unified as a community. Everybody across the country today is part of the Annunciation Parish, and they're with those families. With that, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on the mayor's comments here. Governor Walz, I actually think that was a really good message from Governor Tim Walz, saying the things that you need to have said in that moment and delivering a message to acknowledge and to bring attention to what happened in a way that shines a light on the victims of this tragedy. I think that was a pretty strong message from him. Anything negative to say about it?
No, I was waiting for there it is, and that didn't come.
The YouTube live chat poll for today, we're asking you, should trained armed security be present in all schools, yes or no? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm going to say yes, because I think we're already basically there. Like, we've crossed this Rubicon, and we're in that zone now that you really are not too far from having this happen. So I also, though, I'm going to play devil's advocate and say that I'm not sure that a day like today would have been stopped by having armed guards. This is somebody shooting from outside the school into the school. But a lot of incidents would be. So I'm still a yes.
Yeah, security on patrol in a situation like this, if you do have, the implementation of a security plan, and I'm sure this school probably did, we don't have the details on that, but if you have a security plan implemented where you have cameras and you're identifying people who are suspicious people, if you have somebody there who can neutralize the threat quicker, sometimes you don't stop it from happening, but you can maybe potentially minimize the damage. But I do believe often the presence alone is a deterrent that's large enough to stop something like this from happening. The likelihood of, I'm just not even going to say that. Brad, do you think that there should be armed security present in all schools?
Yeah, I think I said this yesterday when we were talking about the National Guard and yes, protect the people that need protecting. You put protection where people need to be protected. It's a shame that that's where we're at in our country and in our society and in our culture today. But that's where we're at, so we protect the people that need protecting.
Betsy says absolutely, 100% can't think of why this would not be acceptable. Vicky says absolutely. Russell says yes, even if this means higher taxes to cover the cost. I agree, Russell. Chris says sadly yes. It's a soft target, and it's going to continue to be attacked no matter what gun laws you put in place. Janine says, I think it depends on the school. I don't know why it would depend on the school, Janine. I'd be curious as to who you think would and wouldn't need that. Ender said easy yes, though I'm in favor of arming teachers. This puts armed professionals there with a singular purpose. That also proves as a deterrent that merely locking the doors can't quite cover. I agree. Joe says on Facebook, should armed trained guards be in schools? Maybe. Should teachers and parents have to buy their own supplies to run the classrooms? No. The money is barely there to keep classrooms supplied. Where is the money coming from for full-time guards? Well, honestly, Joe, if it means crayons in my kid's hand or a gun keeping my kids safe in their desk, I'm going for the gun first with an armed, trained security guard. Certainly, without a doubt. We asked you, should trained armed security be present in all schools? 91% of you say yes. I think you get 3 yeses from us as well. Connie also comments on Facebook, yes, all schools. It's a tragic day, and we will encounter another one of these in a certain passage of time. We all know that that's going to happen. Pray for those families. Pray for that community. Pray for our country. That's pretty much all there is. That's the advice. Keep it here on 97.1 for the latest with Mark Reardon coming next.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you're still healthy and qualify for much better individual plans. Gregg Hammonds at GreggHammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Gregg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Gregg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Gregg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GreggHammonds.com. That's GreggHammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing: not running out of money. And preparing for retirement can sometimes be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Find out how you